Hello, everyone, and welcome to Complete and Cast, episode 78. This is previewing the 2026 NFL season with my guest, Brian. How are you?
Great.
I mean, he's a Panthers fan, so he's doing.
It's much better than it was, yeah. Used to be really miserable and sad. It's just a little sad, but yeah.
We'll get into that, because I know that most years when we... When we set up, you're like, I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah,
I don't even
cut that segment altogether, yeah.
Let's start with our apparel. I'm wearing a Kyler Murray Cardinals jersey. I'm not a Cardinals fan, thank God. But I believe in the Corgi, and I think that he is going to be decent for the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are a pretty decent team. I would predict probably a second place finish. But we'll go into the predictions later. But probably a second place finish. That gives you a little hint of how I think of the other teams in the NFC North. But also, when a player is no longer on a team, and especially when they switch from one type of jersey to another, I know the Cardinals switched from like this jersey to like a very slightly different. I don't know if it's Nike or Reebok or whatever. Anyway, Amazon will have them ridiculously cheap.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like $5. By the way, when I ordered this like a year and a half ago, it's probably still available. If you want a Kenny Galladay New York Giants jersey, let me tell you, like $3, dude. $3 free shipping. If for some reason that floats your boat and you're like, I really want a Kenny Galladay.
Like too much, but yeah.
Do you remember how like hyped he was with the Lions?
Absolutely.
And then just absolutely, I mean, he got paid and he was like, I'm good.
Yeah, then he just nailed it in.
I mean, it happens, but like, it's not Albert Hainsworth level with, you know, the
not quite.
Tackle,
he had injuries and stuff too, so that didn't help.
But it's like I said, you can always tell which player either quickly turn teams. And honestly, if a player changes teams like Brady, like they're never going to have like a Patriots Brady jersey that they're like $3. Yeah, you know what I mean?
They're still going to be.
So you really have to be like not remembered fondly by the fans. But
no. So
anyway, I got that going on. Brian has his.
Tedero McMillan, first round pick from the Panthers last year, who I talked up quite a bit in the last podcast, and I turned out to be right, which was when you draft a wide receiver 8th overall, you hope he's going to be pretty good. So, you know. You
ended up being right on the ball there.
Yeah.
Very
good.
Go over the rest of our jerseys real quick. I got the black Sam Laporta jersey.
Good one.
I got Ferris. They were Christmas presents. I got him the matching Amon-Ra St. Brown one. His favorite player. He wears 14 in baseball because of Amon-Ra.
Nice.
I forget if I said this publicly, but we are going to strike something off of my bucket list. We are going to the Lions game on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Versus the Bears.
That'll be a good game too.
It'll be a good game. Yeah. I told Ferris, like, we're going regardless. They almost always play NFC North teams, but I was like, we're going regardless, and it ended up being the Bears. I bought tickets literally like the hour that they went up. And still, even then, it's like nosebleed seats. Like it's
a Thanksgiving game. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people going.
I was just happy that there were two together, and it's straight up at the end zone. Like again, nosebleed. But I mean, honestly, I would prefer that to the 50-yard line. I would prefer, because when they score a touchdown right in front of you, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And when they're doing it on the other side, you can still see very well. Yeah, it's further, but it's not like angled off or anything like that.
No, I've been to a couple games like that, and yeah, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible place to view from, honestly.
So
you can still see enough. So
we're real excited. The plan is we're gonna go the night before. We're gonna see the game at 12. I'm gonna drive straight back, because what is the next day in the retail world?
Friday. Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Yep.
Plan to be working Black Friday. It's going to suck, but we're going to do it. I have Trevor on backup just in case I like get home and need like some extra sleep, but it's 8 hours. So the game ends at 4 or 5, should be getting home midnight, 1 a.m., something like that.
Yeah.
I can get like 7-8 hours sleep kind of thing, because we don't open until 11. So here's hoping. So, and then we have in the back, we have my EAFL Effort Area Football League jersey and Brian's high school jersey.
Yep, game worn.
Game worn, baby. Man, that looks like a Jets jersey. And it is from...
it's West Deptford, New Jersey. They are...
I was going to say, I thought it was
They're known as the Eagles, so okay. Go Birds. Go Birds.
We gotta get into that already. So we're all set up here. By the way, I just want to point out how infrequently I've been doing completing casts. So this is 78. I got to episode like 50 or 60 so quickly, doing like game reviews and stuff like that. So this is 78. Episode 76 was our previewing the 2024 NFL season. Episode 77 was previewing the 2025 NFL season. So this has become a once a year thing. Once in a while, I'll do a video where I'm like, I really have to say something to people,
Yeah.
but it's just been so infrequent recently.
Life happens.
Such is life.
Yeah.
By the way, we started in 2017. We've done it every year except for 2020. For obvious reasons.
Yep.
And so this is the 10th one. This is our 10th. I don't count missing 2020 because we would have done it if everything wasn't so weird.
Yeah.
So this is the 10th in the row, baby. And there are dozens of people that will eventually watch this. Dozens. I don't even care. I do it for fun.
It is fun. And usually you get some rogue Panthers fans who jump on and watch. So
Oh, that's cool.
I
That's
try
cool.
to share it with them just when I can. So,
Yeah.
You know.
You can say, hey, the other blind guy is going to be talking for the whole time. If you
Right.
go to 25 minutes, that's where I talk about the Panthers.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
just timestamp
Yep.
straight to there. Because for the Panthers, I just listen. I don't have anything to add.
No.
Oh, Brian, I think the backup right guard should be playing
Yeah.
center, by the way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, that's totally fine.
I can name, I think, 4 players on the Panthers. And that's about it. So...
Good.
Bryce Young, Tedero McMillan. Oh, man.
There should be one wide receiver you should know at this point. The guy I've been hyping up for like the last 2 years.
Oh, Jalen Coker.
Yes, you
Okay.
got it. Yeah.
And then, oh, man, I forget his name, but the amazing defensive tackle. Derek Brown. I wouldn't have gotten that, but I know him. All right, so let's get started. So going into our general topics, I just have written down wrap of the 2025 NFL season. My first question is, how did the Panthers do compared to what you thought?
So I actually guessed they would go 8-9. What I did not guess is that they would make the playoffs.
The
at 8-9.
division.
So
why is it only the NFC South that does that?
I don't know. The Buccaneers just completely crapped the bed. Like they had every chance. It was another one. It's happened so many times in the NFC South's history where like one team like gets out ahead early and then they just can't win the game to put it away. Like they always have like all you got to do is win this one game and then like the next game or 2 games don't matter. You're in the playoffs and they just can't do it. And the Panthers were fighting for it. They were surprising. They beat teams they shouldn't have beaten. They lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to. And then the final 2 games of the season for the NFC South were Panthers-Bucks. If the Panthers beat the Bucks, they were in. Bucks won. So all the Bucks needed was for the Falcons to beat the Saints, and the Bucks were in. And the Saints beat the Falcons. So then the Panthers were in by tiebreaker because chaos.
And honestly, they played very well against the Rams.
It was a really good game. It was still heartbreaking because I, of course, a bunch of friends of mine who are all fans of other teams were like, "Come over, watch the Rams game with us." So the Panthers beat them earlier in the year. I'm sure they could, and then they came real close. They actually had to come back from a not significant but a decent point differential, and Jalen Coker, my boy, scored the go-ahead touchdown, and then Matthew Stafford came out and ripped him apart, and it was all over. So, yeah.
I mean, it was... I don't know what the line was. I assume it would be Rams by, like...
The Rams
5
were
or 6,
expected to win by,
something like that.
the Rams were expected to win pretty heavily. So yeah.
Definitely outdid expectations.
Yeah.
But, so, if I had to ask you, were you happy with the 2025 season?
Yes, I was very happy with it because we were thinking that if the Panthers went in the wrong direction, that Bryce Young would be gone, we'd be blowing everything up, and we'd be just back to the status quo with this team, which is just they're bad. Everyone laughs at us. It's fine. They had a few signature wins, like against the Packers, against the Cowboys, against the Rams.
Packers game was awful.
Yeah,
just as a game in general.
It was not a good game. The defense had to step up in that one.
Jordan Love looked like... I mean, they both look bad, but Jordan Love specifically, for a guy getting paid however many, $50 million a year or whatever, just looked like, what are you doing? He had that one pick in the end zone where I don't think A.D. Packer was within like 10 yards. And I don't think there was like ridiculous pressure in his face. He was just like, oh, he didn't see, what was going on there.
Yeah, it was a rough game for the Packers. It was definitely those kind of games where you pull out the win as the less talented team are those ones where it's like, okay, maybe the coaching staff has something going here because you can pull out those wins where the other team is playing bad and you don't have to play down to their level. Like you keep it even enough and just win enough of the snaps back and forth that you come out with a win. Because they were at that point. I was like about to give up on the season because it was just bad. They had lost several games. They beat the Dolphins, but it's the Dolphins, so it's like so. No, it was a good season. now you have people wondering if they're going to win the NFC South, and you have the national media who are more observant of them now as a franchise rather than just writing them off and being done with that segment for the offseason. So,
I'm curious to see what you say about the NFC South when we get to the playoffs predictions, because I just checked mine out and I surprised myself. I obviously do it just like real quickly. I think, and that's about all to it. I don't look at schedules or anything.
There's no reason to, because it always changes year to year. You'll have the hardest strength of schedule, and then by the end of the year, it's like, oh, they actually had the third least, or the third hardest strength, or the third weakest strength of schedule, because you can't really project that until after the fact. But
so that was probably the first time in many years where I asked you, what do you think about the Panthers season? You were like, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
They could very easily go back to winning 6 games this year, because now they have a first place schedule from the NFC South. So it's going to be tough, but
that means they're playing all the good teams. That's a little tougher.
Back-to-back NFL drafts where many analysts were like, this is one of the better draft classes in the entire league, like this year and last season. Both widely lauded, aside from like the occasional hater, but like widely lauded as like really good draft classes top to bottom. And clearly it's showing, because they went and made themselves competitive. So, yeah.
I'm happy for that. I'm happy that we can have some positivity today.
Yep.
I have a couple things written down for my just wrap of the 2025 season. Nothing crazy. I have the Chiefs finally not winning. Not even just Super Bowl, just not making the playoffs. It was based. I definitely understand how like non-Pats fans would feel about, when that was going on with Brady and all that. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It gets boring. It gets annoying,
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to see anyone get hurt, Mahomes or anything like that. Which, by the way, like they're like, he tore his ACL like week, I don't know, 14, 15.
Like way towards the end of the year.
And he's like ready to go week 1. Like that just seems, I don't know. Seems so interesting. Because even Brady, he was about the same age in 2008 when he tore his. And, he was like barely ready for 09. And to be fair, 09 was one of the Pats' like worst years. Not always because of Brady, but I'm curious to see if Mahomes is back, how like strong he is and all that. So
it is a little different now. The ACL reparation and like treatment is different from back then, but it's still definitely worth being like, is he going to be really ready? Like, I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll be a little more run heavy and he'll be throwing the ball, but he may not be as spry as he usually is, at least to start the year. So
definitely possible. I mean, I'm currently on IR from EAFL. I tore my plantar fascia in my right foot.
Oh.
And I was in a walking boot for like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, something like that. I'm not now. I haven't done any like sports. I'm obviously walking around, but like I want to so bad, but I also know that it has to have that time, that
it does.
6-8 weeks, whatever kind of thing. It was, I've gotten hurt a lot, just in general. I'm very clumsy. I've broken like 7 or 8 bones, depending on how you classify hand breaks, I've definitely broken bones where I was like, yep, and it's in my hand, and I'm like, yep, it's broken. What am I going to do? I'm going to go there, and they're going to say, don't use it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's to be set or anything like that. Anyway, tearing a muscle was the worst. I've broken my ankle. I've broken my arm. The ankle thing still pops out once in a while. Not like out of the skin, but like out of the spot. Mm-hmm. But tearing a muscle was so weird because I took a weird step and it just like, I could feel like a rubber band go. It was bizarre. Snaps, it was just weird to feel in your body. And immediately I was like, oh no. And I kind of knew it was weak already because when I would be done playing every Sunday, like it hurt so bad. And now I know a little bit better how to like, train it a little bit better. Because I would stretch, but apparently not exactly the right spot on my calves and the plantar fascia, which is like all connected to it kind of thing. So now I know. It was just such a bizarre feeling. So anyone who tears, now I know, like when someone like tears their Achilles or whatever, and they're just like, they just know, and they're like almost even crying kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, like it's like, there were times where I broke bones and I was like, maybe not, kind of thing. But like, I knew immediately. I was like, damn. I took the step and I was like, damn.
Yeah. Things are not working right.
Yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you just feel that. So it's like when Aaron Rodgers was with the Jets, it's like, he just knew, Yeah. It's like, so yeah, we'll see how that works out. I do have from the 2025, I think the Patriots were one of the biggest frauds to make the Super Bowl in honestly many years that I remember. I don't think that team was 14 wins good, Maybe you could say 50% of this is haterade from always putting Brady on a pedestal. I think Drake May is good. I don't think he's transcendent like people are acting like he is. I don't know. I will say, in fairness to myself, with that hot take, I felt the exact same way about CJ Stroud, and at least for last year, I was proven correct. I just had a weird feeling. It's just like a gut thing where I'm like, is Drake May bad? No, he's above average, but they're acting like, oh, this is the guy.
Yeah,
and I just don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree. I mean, he was propped up by a really good Mike Vrabel defense and a very good special teams unit as well. So this is going to be the year to prove it because they've surrounded him with more weapons on offense.
And now, just like you said, he has a first place schedule. Yep. Their schedule last year was like, hey, and garbage. You play who you play, right? You play who you play. Yeah, you can't change that. But man, like, I cannot believe that the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, I think the Pats were like a 3-point underdog. I thought it should have been like 10. Yeah. And they're never going to do that because that's just going to get them hammering the other line. But I don't bet at all. I used to when it was ironically illegal. I would have a friend be like, oh, put it in, whatever. Now that it's like fully legal, I'm like, whoa, it's weird. I don't trust it now. Right? Like now that it's legal, I like all the conspiracy in my head is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do want to point out two things. Oh, I have that written down as the next thing. I literally, I was about to go to my friend who's a big gambler and be like, dude, put $200 on this parlay. Seahawks to cover, which they did by $1 billion, and Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, that's his name. The running back is MVP. I just had a weird feeling. And man, one time in my life, and I told everyone I could who was like, within earshot, I would go to EAFL and be like, Kenneth Walker MVP, please put it down. He is going to be MVP. And I don't even think he scored a touchdown and he was MVP.
Yeah, he was all over the place.
It was just, it was one of those where he had 25 rushes for 150 yards. And honestly, I think they should have given it to the kicker, Jason Myers, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know they'll never do that. It would literally have to be scores the only points and scores a 60-yard field goal. That is the only way they would ever give it to. And maybe somehow kicks a kickoff that is an onside that is recovered. It would have to be that level.
Pretty sure Myers was the guy who screwed me out of the fantasy playoffs as well with kicking 7 field goals in one game. So, yeah.
I do recall him doing that. I was probably against him in another league. Because of course I was. And we'll talk more about fantasy later. But man, I had a feeling, I had that gut feeling, and I was like, Kenneth Walker.
Sometimes you gotta act on it,
Yeah, I didn't, and I'm okay by that. I'm not sitting here going, but that was one because I'm never. It could be an 0-16 team versus a 16-0 team, and they just tempt you with that oh, it's just Patriots -10 or whatever, you know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, and it ends up being a close game. No. Mm-hmm. Don't trust it. Do you have any other just general observations about the 2025 NFL season, non-Panthers related? Something that was fun, anything like that?
Well, Seattle basically dominating their way to the Super Bowl kind of, again, reinforced the idea that you don't have to have a franchise quarterback to make it. And it really infuriated me that it was Sam Darnold, but that's okay.
Oh, because he was a Panther. I totally forgot. Yeah. I honestly, I don't think anyone remembers that he was a Panther.
Yeah.
It's just like Baker. When they talk about Baker, they're like, oh yeah, the Browns did him dirty. And people don't remember that he was a Panther.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty upsetting to see both of them doing well, but it's fine. The team moved on from them. I can't blame them.
I don't think who was Baker quarterback when Frank Wright was
No, they
okay. That was all Bryce Young.
That was all Bryce Young. They had they moved on from Baker at that point. Sam Darnold was a free agent. They had traded Baker the year before, and Sam Darnold was just a free agent. They just let him walk, basically. So yeah, that was all fine. The Bears surprised me a bit, and they're one of those teams where I'm like, okay, they could have one of the best offenses in football in 2026. But yeah, the Bears surprised me quite a bit in 2025.
Ben Johnson, I mean, you can definitely feel the Lions hurting from him not being there.
Yeah.
Whatever, I forget the guy's name, whatever play caller they had was just awful. It was so boring. It was so predictable.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell took over, and it was better, but still.
Yeah.
They got the guy from the Cardinals, actually. The bald guy, Drew Presnig or something like that.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah.
I don't. So, like, I asked Nate, the former Cardinals fan, by the way, he's not a Cardinal. He gave up. He's like, I'm done.
He gave up.
I don't blame him. He said he's an Eagles fan now. So, go Birds for him.
Go Birds, yep.
Anyway, he was unimpressed with them, but I look at it, I'm like, what was the reason the Cardinals were bad for so many years? And I don't think it was the play calling. Like, I lack of talent, lack of quarterback being there because Kyler was always hurt and all that. I don't ever look at it like, oh, in fact, last year their play calling was actually rather nice because they were scoring a lot of points with Jacoby. I mean, Jacoby was like fantasy relevant because he would have like 400 yards. Now, was a lot of it in garbage time, whatever kind of thing. But I'm actually very excited for that for the Lions to have that. It's just, I mean, and you go from having Marvin Harrison Jr., who apparently can't catch anything, running backs who dropped the ball before the end zone, and their main running back was out all year. You go to that to the plethora of receivers and everything that the Lions have. It must be like, it just must, as an offensive coordinator, it must be the best thing to be like, how will I utilize my wide receiver 2, Jamison Williams? You know what I mean? Oh, the fastest guy in the NFL. Kind of thing. It must be so fun.
Must be.
So, biggest disappointments in 2025. I have the entire NFC South. Valid. Cowboys. I know it's a joke. Every year's their year.
Cowboys were on my list too, so yeah.
Yeah. And it's not Dak, and it's not the offense. It's that defense was categorically bad. I mean, my God, they lost to the Cardinals at home, and it's not like the Dak put up 7 points. I forget what the score was, but they did well. It's just that defense couldn't stop a nosebleed.
No, they couldn't. They let Micah Parsons go, and it was just awful the whole time.
Yeah. Now seems like they retold pretty well from a lot of those trades and everything, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I also have as a disappointment the Colts. I mean, when you start out 7-1 or 7-2.
Yeah, everyone was talking about them as being a dark horse Super Bowl contender,
and then you don't make the playoffs. That's like it's not unprecedented. It's happened before, but that's crazy. Going 7-2 and ending up like
Daniel Jones getting broken in half didn't help, but
yeah. So
crazy.
Those are my disappointments in 2025.
Only addition I have is the Ravens. They were bad enough that they finally let go of John Harbaugh. So.
And honestly, it shouldn't with how the AFC North was. The Browns being bad, the Bengals being without Burrow for most of the year, the Steelers being the Steelers.
Yeah.
I know Ravens fan would blame it on Tyler Loop, their kicker, missing that kick at the last second, but like it shouldn't have even come to that.
No.
The Ravens are so much more talented than with Burrow, they're about the same. But without it, okay, so even if it's like this, but without Burrow, it's like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Burrow,
so
it should be easy.
You could make an argument to me that like the Bengals should win or could win the division with a healthy Burrow. I'd be fine with that, but without him for like 3/4 of the year, there's no reason it should have come down to a last kick. So
no,
I definitely agree there. What about biggest positive surprises in 2025? Would you like to start with this one?
Drives me crazy, but Bo Nix for the Broncos.
I forget, why do you hate Bo Nix?
Well, because he plays for Sean Payton.
Oh, Sean Payton, right, okay. So it's not Bo Nix in general.
No, Bo Nix is fine. No, I thought Bo Nix was one of those quarterbacks where he came on strong, fast, and
keep on, you're good.
He was just... It's funny how much different it was when Bo Nix went down at the very end of the year in the playoffs, because then the Broncos got freaking slaughtered by the Patriots. Like there was just no chance. Like
the game was only like 10-3 though, but
but you watching it, you could tell like the Broncos just had no chance because Bo Nix was gone.
My God, am I glad that Jared Stidham didn't lead him to the Super Bowl? Because that would have been like Seahawks by 40 or something. I'm like,
it would have been terrible.
I mean, if Drake May got killed, can you imagine Jared Stidham? And I'm not even talking about the O-line because the O-line's pretty good for the Broncos. But my God,
yeah,
my God,
no.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So my biggest positive surprises are two teams. I have the Bears, just like you did. Very surprising, I worry about the Bears for 2026, but we'll talk about that later. And the other one, as a positive, is the Jags, aka Duval.
Yep, Dan Cohen.
Honestly, pretty solid team. It seems like it took Trevor Lawrence, no one gives him any crap for that first year with Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just awful. But after that, he really should have started to turn it around. And it seems like in his his fifth year, one of those two. It seems like he finally turned it on.
Yeah.
And he played
quite well.
People forget he was, or they don't forget, he was a generational prospect.
Yes.
This is the guy it's Andrew Luck, and then it was Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
And Andrew Luck, his career was short, but he showed it immediately.
Really good.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence, it was flashes for many years, and it seems like they finally put it together. Liam Cohen seems like a very, very good offensive mind, and I'm always so interested about head coaches, to just talk about that really quick. When they also do stuff like call the plays on defense or offense kind of thing, I feel like that takes away from all the other stuff you have to be doing there. I feel like if I was a head coach, even if I was Matt LaFleur, the offensive guy kind of thing, I would be I have to pass this off. Because then otherwise, what's your offensive coordinator doing?
Right.
Obviously they're doing other stuff, but and I know a lot goes into every play and all the positions and all that kind of stuff, but I like my head coach. This is going to be so biased because I do like the Lions, because Ferris is a Lions fan, to be like Dan Campbell, just the rah-rah guy, looks you in the eye and says, you are going to go there and you are going to ram through him. And they go, yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir, kind of thing. I like that. But if you're worried about calling plays and stuff like that, you don't have time to go talk to the guy who just had a drop, right?
Yeah.
And go up to, Bud, it's all right, you got the next one, kind of thing. You don't have time for that. And I feel like hearing, and you can tell me that as as a former actual high school player, I feel like that means a lot to the player. I don't know. I'm motivated in that way when people will tell me and I'll go this is stupid, but when I play flag football with my friends, if I have a drop or something where it doesn't connect, I'll go to my quarterback and I'll be like, I got you next time. I'm good. You know what I mean? My bad. I got you next time.
In the NFL sense, it definitely seems to impact your game planning when your head coach has to devote so much of their time to calling plays and developing the play call schedule, which I know it's a perfect example, because the Panthers for 2 years they brought Dave Canales on, who was the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers before Liam Cohen. So they sniped him, then the Jaguars sniped Cohen. And for the last 2 seasons, Canales was the one calling offensive plays. And yeah, they were certainly fine. They had a lot of good play calls, but there was a lot of problems with getting the call out on time, and all of a sudden have to battle the clock to get the ball snapped, and players not really being on the same page. And this past offseason, he finally handed the reins off to the offensive coordinator that he's had for the last 2 seasons, in Brad Idzik. And just this last week, the preseason game with the Panthers.
Great game, by the way.
Which was a great game, but I didn't see any of that. And you would expect to see some struggles with getting the play calls in and getting the ball snapped in a preseason game where a bunch of 2s and 3s and 4s are all playing together, where they haven't done that consistently. So I think that there's certainly merit to having a Sean McVay type guy, and that guy's a psychopath. So I don't think you can always get an offensive a head coach who can do that well and still have the team be good.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's definitely value in delegating all of that to one guy for him to focus on. Then you can focus on the overall game plan. Talk to your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator on what areas do we want to focus on? Do we want to win at the run, or do we want to win at the line of scrimmage? Do we want to establish the run? Do we want to hit this route? Do we want to focus on this wide receiver mismatch? So I think that having that guy where you go tell him, say, this is what I want to accomplish, this is how I think we can accomplish it, go figure it out, is a good way to be. I do think it's hard to be the guy who calls all the plays on offense or defense. And you have those very rare outliers where it's Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, where they can do that and still be successful. So
yeah, and that's a really good point. And I don't know all that a head coach has to do throughout the week. I do know that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so like all the
from like 7 to 7 or
all
7 to 9,
all the
day.
personnel stuff, all the team meetings, all that kind of stuff, and then also have to worry about the play calling is crazy. Like if I was a head coach, you know, Brian played wide receiver, I would go to him being like, "Yo, hey, Tedero McMillan, right? He's going to be against their CB1, and he's kind of short, and I think McMillan's kind of tall, right?
He's decently tall.
Okay,
yeah,
right. So I'd be like, hey, and this guy doesn't have a lot of jump. Let's look at those 9 routes, or maybe like the comebacks or whatever kind of thing. Instead of having to worry about like doing that and calling the plays, I don't know. It just coaches that do it, God tier. You know, Sean McVay is such a psychopath in a nice way. That
100%.
that he has to have that guy who like stops him from walking out into the into the field, and it's not on purpose. You know, he's just so focused. He's like, all right,
locked in.
All right, so let's move on to my least favorite subject, which is fantasy football. This is the 2025 wrap up. I did bad in both of my leagues. I joined another league this year. Nate from Cardinals fan.
Mm-hmm.
He had a spot open and he invited me, and previously I said no because I only want to do 2 leagues, but I like Nate. He hasn't been in our league for a couple of years, and he puts so much effort.
He was always a very good like co-commissioner and team player.
Yes, 100%.
Great player. If we ever have an opening and you want to come back, buddy, feel free. As co-commissioner, I sign off on it.
I would absolutely love that. We're gonna glaze Nate all we can on this, but no, and Nate, you know, you knew that if you saw a trade that was proposed, you weren't going to be like, oh, this is BS. You know what I mean? You knew it was going to be fair. Anyway, he put so much effort into it. He actually has a website, like specifically that he made that has like week by week, year by year stats. So he can tell you, now I just joined, but say 5 years from now, he can be like, in 2027, Spencer played Nate for the first time and lost blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Not one, lost.
Yeah.
Because it's fantasy football with me. But it's crazy. And he does these crazy, long, awesome, detailed write-ups every week. So I was like, I got to do this. I mean, I hope the people in the league read them. I mean, they're not obliged to, but I hope they at least read them. And he honestly,
he puts the effort
he would do it anyway.
Yeah.
Even if literally everyone was like, don't read them, sorry, kid.
Yeah.
You know, he would still do them. But so I joined that. I'm in 3 this year, and I don't know why. I think the main reason I joined is because they have one starting running back, and I've been clawing for that in our league.
Never gonna get it. Not in my cold dead hands.
Yeah, I know. However, they do have 14 people, so two running backs with 14 people would be
is tough. Yeah,
pretty tough.
It's already tough with 12.
I mean, even with 12, you know, there aren't 24 like absolute must start running backs in the league. You know,
not.
So I'm really excited. I actually took. Because I finished so bad, I had the option to choose my draft spot in each league. I am 12th, which is last, 12th, which is last, and 14th, which is last. So I have the double up on the snake draft.
You enjoy that?
Every time.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you right now, in Nate's league, because it's 14, with one running back, if there is anyone that is even remotely startable, I am taking him. And then I don't super have to worry about like if there's another great running back, I'll do it because obviously they have flex as well, you know. But like I'm like if I get like a Genty or Achan, I saw Achan's been going like 12-13 kind of thing. Cool, got Achan, great. Now that's my running back spot for most of the year, and I don't have to worry about some. That's always my problem with the 2 running back. My second running back is always like Montgomery, which is great. Like he's a great player. I love him, but he's not like one of those guys where you're like, yep, 20 points. Always. You would have somewhere it's 3 and somewhere it's 18, you know, kind of thing. So I'm really excited for that. Hey, I'm actually sounding excited for fantasy.
Yeah.
So how'd you finish last year in whatever leagues you want to talk about?
Well, CIB league, I had the most points ever scored in a regular season, and I believe the most wins ever in a regular season, or at the very least, the most wins consecutively in a regular season. You
started
10-1, I believe.
So you started 10-0.
Yeah, like 10-0, I believe.
We've never had. Now I don't keep as close as Nate. Nate could literally be like the longest we've ever had, right? But I don't think we've ever had anything more than 5 or 6, maybe 6 or 7.
I can actually tell you because the sleeper app has become so much better.
I did notice that for the previous years that they are really, really nice for that.
Yeah, let me go look real quick. League history. That makes me so mad.
Seeing all the points for.
I have the most points scored ever in our league since we started in Sleeper, and the second most wins ever. And guess what? I am 0-4 in the championship. I've been to more championships than anyone else in this league. I'm just gonna stop.
You've been to more championships than I've made the playoffs.
Yeah.
and our league is 12, and 8 teams make the playoffs, and I still don't make the playoffs that often. I'm still 9th, 10th, or 11th.
Yeah, I finished the season 12-2 with by far the most points scored, about 150 more than the next highest guy, and then I lost in the first round of the playoffs.
That's rough. Now, I will say the one rule that we have that's been changed that's going to help you quite a bit is the way we have it set up, the 8th team is the most points for a team that doesn't normally get in.
Yep.
And they're
if they're like 3-12, but they have the most points,
and which is that's perfectly fair as a wild card. And now instead of playing at the number 1 seed, they're going to be playing the number 2 seed because it's completely unfair to have the number 1 seed, who technically maybe even should have a bye if we didn't have 8 exactly, playing the hottest team, because they're always going to be the hottest team.
Yep. Right.
So you're going to play the 7th seed, the guy who kind of just kind of like drags in at like
lipped into it.
6 and 8 kind of thing.
Yeah.
The me as 7th spot.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very, I don't know why I didn't do it originally, but after
we just never thought of it.
After 2 straight years of having the number 1 seeds like get decimated, it happens once in a while, fine, but like it just seemed like, wow, like this
is a trend.
It's a trend, and that's not fair, because at that point, if I was Brian, I would just lose on purpose to get the second. And why do you want that? That's stupid.
No, you don't want to be playing around with that. Luckily, it didn't matter, because I would have probably lost in the second round anyway, just because my team did not perform well. But so it wasn't a big deal. It happens, but we've rectified it.
Where are you picking this year in my draft? Are you 11? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
There we go. He's right before me.
My sweet spot was always 12 because I like the bookend pick. And last year I got Christian McCaffrey and Devon Achane.
Dude.
Which, by the way, on this podcast, I did say he was overrated last year.
Wait, which one? CMC?
Achane.
Oh, really?
I was like, he's overrated, but I also thought he was going higher than he was going, and then he made it to my pick at 12.
So you thought he might have went like 6,
I was like,
7, 8.
I could get a wide receiver, but I'm just going to double up on them here, and that was what pushed me so far. But Dynasty is a completely different animal.
Oh, you were telling me you wanted to...
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to elaborate on that you weren't. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with Dynasty, Dynasty is a league where you keep your rosters from the previous year. Whenever you do a draft, you're drafting the rookies that come into the league, plus whatever free agents are out there. Because you can also draft whatever players were on the waiver wire at the end of the year. Because sometimes they end up signing a big free agent contract, and all of a sudden they're worth something.
Does that happen often?
Someone took Okonkwo, the former Titans tight end, now plays for the Commanders because he signed like a 3-year, $28 million deal.
Okay.
They took him with the
and now he may be fantasy relevant.
So in this league, there's four rounds, so they took him with their 4th round pick, which in a dynasty league, since there's not a lot of roster turnover, like your 4th round pick is a throwaway pick, so it makes sense to.
Is there often 4 spots available for you to
draft?
So
in dynasty leagues,
I've never done dynasty.
In dynasty leagues, typically in the ones that I've done that run well, you give what's called taxi squad slots, which are essentially practice squad slots. So they usually allow you to stash a guy who's a rookie if you draft them on that spot for the entire year. So that's how you stash some of these
almost
guys
like an IR kind of thing.
Pretty much, but you can move them off of it at any time. You just can't move them back on it. So like, for example,
starts as eligibility essentially.
Yeah, I drafted the Chiefs running back they just drafted, and it was like a 5th round pick, so it didn't matter. But I threw him on the taxi squad, so he didn't take up a roster spot, and my roster is very deep. So I have guys like Jalen Coker, who I love, on there. But in that league, I finished just shy of making the playoffs, but I was on the way you do dynasties, you do it in kind of like 2 to 3 year windows. Like you typically are either trying to win like right now or next year, or win like 3 years out. And my team was when I started, I was very young player focused. So I've like took Malik Neighbors, I took Roma Dunze, my running backs were crap, but I focused mainly on like young players, and then what I did in my first year was I accumulated draft picks. So I had 3 first-round picks last year going into the draft. So this is where the story comes from. So my team was shit at running back, though I had Javonte Williams stashed, and this is when he played for the Broncos, not the Cowboys. So he was on the back of my roster, and I hoped he'd be worth something, and he was. So
yeah, scored a lot of touchdowns.
My plan was I was drafting 102, 105, and 106 of a 12-team league.
Okay.
And the way the rookie drafts always play out is typically running backs, like the top running back or 2 running backs are highly rated, then it's wide receivers, then maybe a tight end, then it just...
So Jeremiah Love went first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that? That was Genty last year.
Yeah.
It was Genty, yeah. So Genty went first. I took Amarian Hampton second. Very happy with that
I
pick.
think that's good. I know he got hurt last year. I think that Harbaugh is just going to wear him down and just, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, so then the way all the mock drafts played out was Quinshon Judkins was going to go in the next 2 picks, and then I forget which wide receiver it was, but there was another wide receiver who always went in those next few picks. So then my targets were R.J. Harvey, Broncos running back.
Looking decent.
And then my next pick was going to be either a wide receiver or a tight end, and I was thinking it was going to be the Colts tight end, Tyler Warren. Well, this dumbass in our league...
He almost did it.
Yeah, this dumbass in our league, he was worried about... So last year, just to give you some context, if you don't recall it, because it's all really super nerdy stuff, but last year was the first time that a bunch of second-round picks were pushing for fully guaranteed contracts.
Oh, okay. I honestly barely paid attention.
There was
to
holdouts
stuff.
like all off season up until like the very start of training camp, like and even into training camp in the preseason, where second round picks were not getting signed. And on top of that, Judkins had some kind of off the field issue.
I recall.
All of a sudden there was like talk in the media of like Judkins may go back to college, because if he doesn't sign his contract and there's discipline, he might just go back to college and then get drafted, because then he'd just be eligible for the draft the following year. So this idiot
I didn't realize you could do that.
Drafted Caleb Johnson at 104, where Johnson was going like 7 or 8.
I can't even tell you who Caleb Johnson is.
Pittsburgh running back who was not relevant this year. I think he was a third.
That's right. I asked RJ. I literally went to him halfway through the season. I'm like, "What's the deal with this guy? Why aren't they using him?" Okay.
Yeah. So this guy, who is a Steelers fan, took him at 104. Okay. So I'm literally sitting there at our CIB fantasy draft, at CIB doing this draft in the background because I figured it was a 3-round draft at that time. So like I figured, okay, I can make these 3 picks during our draft.
That's easy, yeah.
So I had my plan of RJ Harvey and either Tyler Warren or a wide receiver. I'll figure it out as it comes. Well, since this guy took Caleb Johnson, all of a sudden I had Quinshon Judkins ahead of me. So I'm sitting there like, I can take like a potential RB1 here if I take the risk that he will sign his contract. So I'm sitting there freaking out while you guys are picking and talking. Like, I don't know if anyone knew what was going on, but I'm just sitting there staring at my phone like, do I want to do this? And
the crazy thing about Dynasty is that's potentially a very multi-year thing. If you make a mistake in normal fantasy, you're like,
yeah,
okay. We don't even do keeper. Yeah. So it's just, you start fresh.
Yeah,
so
you just start fresh every year. And
every pick in that is so much more important in Dynasty.
So I took Judkins, but then in my head, now it's where the 2 RBs for me mentality came in, because I should have taken Tyler Warren, but I didn't. I took my next running back target to grab those 3 running backs in the first round. Oh, it's Juwan Johnson for the Saints.
He had some okay.
He's
but
good.
he's not
I have Juwan Johnson.
Star.
I have the tight end for the Patriots.
Hunter Henry?
Yeah, Hunter Henry. Like
he's not very famous.
I don't have well, he was good last year. Like he was good enough as like a tight end.
I keep forgetting that honestly, besides like the top literally 3 tight ends
3
now,
to 5.
It's like not worth it. Like if you don't get like Warren, Brock Bowers, it's just pick Juwan Johnson. You know what I mean?
Well, so my team was so running back needy that I just took all 3 of them, and I was like, so all of a sudden, like on this one app that I use that grades your dynasty team, I went from like the 6th best running back room in the league to the first
Wow.
with that pick. But I still should have taken Tyler Warren because Tyler Warren ended up being really good. But I think you would have really appreciated me being like sticking to my guns and being like, I'm going to take 3 running backs. F it. Why not? Like,
2 RBs for me.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Oh, and I also traded for Bucky Irving that year too. So I have like.
Okay. So you're set and you're flex.
I ended up trading away Javonte Williams just because I had too many high level running backs, and I got Justin Herbert out.
Well, and Javonte's a little older too, so in Dynasty it's not as important. Like, yeah,
he's like 25, 26.
Well,
yeah, but at the same time, he's in Dallas where they could move on from him at Jerry Jones win. But yeah,
hypothetically, if you drafted Judkins and he just went back to college for a year in Dynasty, could you just keep him drafted?
We hadn't figured that out. That was the guy asked that one question, which I didn't think in my mind that he would ever not take him there.
Because I would just do that and be like, okay, he goes back for a year, but then he comes out again. Like, at some point, he's going to go to the NFL.
It's kind of an unprecedented situation in something like Dynasty.
And I know it's a hypothetical.
In theory, what might have ended up happening was, like, I'd have gotten, like, some kind of compensatory selection where maybe I get, like, an additional second-round pick or something. But we hadn't even figured that out yet. But my brother, who is the commissioner of the league, and I both were like, I don't think Judkins isn't going to play. Like, the Browns need him too much.
Yeah.
So... And the media hypes this crap up during the offseason because there's nothing to talk about. And sure enough, it didn't matter. Yeah. Like a week after I drafted him, he was signed. It didn't matter.
I saw some leagues are like drafting like now, which is crazy.
We just did our Dynasty League draft last night.
I guess that's a little different because it's mostly rookies.
Yeah.
It's a little different because like, first of all, there's not that many picks.
Yeah.
But a rookie is like not gonna get like cut. Yeah, there can be like injuries and stuff like that, but it's a little different. But
it is.
Man, there's always, even when we do it, which is like the week before, there's always, it's so funny.
Somebody gets hurt.
At Nick's one, which we always do at Buffalo Wild Wings in Lancaster, I swear to goodness, 3 years in a row where they're drafting, it's like, I think it's Sunday at like 2-3 p.m. Like, someone will pick someone, and I swear to God, by the end of the draft, that person's hurt. Because they play games at like 1 p.m. There was, who was the longtime Raven who kept getting hurt, the running back? I think he played on the Chargers too. Not Gus Edwards. Anyway, so he literally got
drafted. McGahee?
No. We're talking like recent. He keeps tearing his ACL or getting hurt for the year.
Justin Forsett?
No. This is like recent. He's still in the NFL, but he kept getting hurt. I think he's on the Chargers now.
Dobbins, was it?
Dobbins, that's it. Dobbins.
Yeah, because I think now he's on the Broncos.
Yeah, you're right. He's on the Broncos, right?
Yeah.
But
he got hurt last year too.
No, literally, there was, I think 2 years ago, someone drafted him, not like really early, but early enough.
Yeah.
And literally, when we were there, he got hurt, and someone was like, "Hey, Dobbins is getting carted off," and he was like, "You gotta be like," and it was like to see that live. I mean, you feel bad, obviously, for Dobbins, but like the irony and everything is just crazy. I mean, that's fantasy football. That's why they call it fantasy.
No, I mean, just for me in Dynasty, which granted, it didn't really impact anything because I wasn't drafting them this year, but they were all pushing for the league to be earlier, and I said to this one guy who pushed the rule, I was like, just so you know, I'm blaming you for every injury I have. And Ricky Pearsall, literally 2 days after that, they were like, he's out for the season.
Dude, in general, it's one thing to have injuries. Injuries happen. I mean, injuries happen to me, and I'm not even in shape. But, like, in training camp, like, damn, dude. Damn. Let me ask you this, hypothetically. Monkey's paw kind of thing. Say you're an NFL player. Would you rather if you had to get hurt, and some wizard was like, you're going to get hurt, but you get to choose one. Would you rather it be in training camp, so you don't get to play at all that year, or literally like that one player for the 49ers in the Super Bowl? Remember when he like ran out on the field and he tore his like Achilles or whatever?
Yeah. You
got to pick.
Definitely in the offseason.
Yeah.
Only because then you know most likely next season is fine.
You're ready to go for the next one.
Because Ike Ekwonu for the Panthers, their offensive tackle, he tore several things in his knee during the Rams playoff game, and now there's a chance he may not even play this year. So, like, they had to go through that the entire offseason. But it's a double-edged sword, so they had to go through the entire offseason not knowing if he was going to play or not. So they signed Rasheed Walker, former Packers left tackle, to replace him. And then they drafted Monroe Freeling with a first-round pick.
I wanted him for the Lions so bad.
I know you did.
I wanted, like, because I don't pay attention that much to rookies, but I was like, this boy is a beefy boy, and I was like, the one thing the Lions need, besides not getting injured all the time,
yeah,
is better O-line help.
Yep.
They have Penei Sewell, who's literally a generational tackle. Who's, by the way, he's left tackle now. And they did draft that big boy from Iowa. No, not Iowa. Clemson. Excuse me. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Blake something or other. Anyway, and he looks pretty solid for right tackle. But I wanted Monroe Freeling because he is that is a big, but he's like 6'8", like just a huge monster.
He's super athletic too. And
it
makes you feel it, and it's not going to make you feel any better. But so they drafted
He's looking
him.
Not that great now.
They drafted him, and the whole idea was they'd be competing on the left side, which means if Ekwonu came back healthy even towards the end of the season, he may not have had a job.
Okay.
And he was going into his contract year, too. So, that meant that Ekwonu could have come back from his injury fully healthy and not had a job.
Wow.
But Monroe Freeling was drafted basically to be like a project left tackle. Like he may not play this year, he might play sparingly.
He literally would have been. He would have been plug and play for the line. No, I'm not saying it would have been better or worse, but they need O-line help that much. Yeah. He would have started.
Well, then,
and now he is.
Then Taylor Moton, their right tackle for the last freaking 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's like 10 or 12 years now. He got blood clots. So all of a sudden, Monroe Freeling is playing right tackle, where he was never projected to play right tackle. Well, guess what? He's doing just fine at right tackle in training camp. He's doing just fine.
Speaking of the blood clots thing, obviously gets me. Yeah, it sucks. And it's something you can't help. All injuries. The thing that always bothers me as a fan, and it would drive me insane as a GM or a head coach, is when a player retires after the draft or even near the draft.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Frank Ragnow did for the Lions. It was literally out of nowhere. The Bears center or right guard just did that very recently.
Yeah.
And my thing is all right, bud, you're going to retire. Do it in January, February, March. But sometimes these guys literally come out to training camp and they're I retire. It's one thing to be when Reggie Wayne did it, at literally the end of his career, or there's a whole list of players who went to the Pats, went to their training camp and was I'm done. That white wide receiver on the Broncos and Eric Decker.
Yeah.
He literally went to Patriots training camp and was all right, guys, I'm out. And I get that, but he played 10 years in the NFL. But it's one thing, a 26-year-old center or whatever, it's just all of a sudden by the way, I retire, and that's fine. All power to you, because he made enough money to live his entire life, right? But do it in February, do it in March. Don't go through all that pre-process and then be hey, bud, I'm done.
There's two sides to it, though, because training camp is so much about the team and, being a part of the team and bonding with the team.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be all in on it, there's no reason for you to be there taking snaps and practice reps from those other guys.
But how do you not know that until you get there?
You just don't.
It's not your first time doing it. You know what to expect.
Well, there's a combination of things. It could be something happening in their personal life. It could be they get out there and realize they're losing a step. It happened with Luke Kuechly, for example, though he did it in January. So,
he definitely could have still played at a very high level.
He could have.
Maybe not a true Hall of Fame level, but he could have kept.
But if your heart's not, if you get out there and your heart's not in it, or you're miserable, because again, training camp is freaking miserable for these guys. It's awful.
I heard that's a reason why players like Aaron Rodgers will they, won't they?
Yeah, they'll. There's so many.
Same thing with Aaron Donald right now. Although he is kind of doing training camp, but he hasn't officially signed yet, even though it seems like he will. So
yeah, it's. I get where you're coming from with it, but there's a lot more to it than just, am I going to retire? Well, I'm just going to wait until June and then decide, you know what, I'm not doing this. There is more to it than that.
I get it, and I'm not talking about a Trent Williams coming back for his 16th year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these guys in their third or fourth year.
Yeah, 25, 26.
And it's one thing if it's I've had 6 concussions in the last 3 years. It's understood. But sometimes it's just so out of nowhere, and it's wow. Just it so surprises me.
Unfortunately, with a lot of that stuff too, the NFL doesn't really disclose what was going on behind the scenes. Yeah. A good example was.
Keep going.
There was a linebacker for the Panthers a few years ago where they actually released him with an injury designation, and it came completely out of nowhere. Trying to remember who it was. Josie Jewell played for the Broncos.
Never heard the name.
He was okay, but he was a veteran guy, so throughout the entire offseason, like as I'm like writing about them, I'm factoring this guy in as he's like a starting linebacker, and then just out of the blue, they're like, he's too banged up, he needs time to recover. So they just outright released him, like just like that in the middle of training camp. He was just gone, and none of us had heard a peep of this. So like that's the other factor, is that you don't always hear like the behind the scenes, like. The team might be aware that this guy might retire, and like they're just taking some time to soul search and see if they want to do it or not. So
and we as fans don't know.
We don't know that, yeah. And it's like you have to be like really psychotic like me, where I'm like fucking hyper focused on stuff like that. And it's like, and even then, I didn't pick up on that at all. I thought he was going to be there. Like he had been injured the year before, but it was like, okay, he's going to come back healthy. Maybe they ease him in, whatever. And he was just gone. And it was like a mutually agreed upon release. Like you're not going to be able to play. You're too banged up. I think he had concussion issues too. But like none of us knew that. Like none of us knew that he was in that bad shape. So I mean, I don't know. It always sucks as being the fan being like, well, my team just got worse because this guy retired, and it looks like we don't have a suitable replacement for him right now. But
I also recognize, obviously, they're human beings.
Yeah.
Stuff can happen, especially if it's concussion related. But it's so. I guess it's just like the timing always bothers me. Like, man,
I get it.
Make up your gosh dang mind like a little earlier.
In a straight up vacuum, I get it, because there's definitely been guys who are just like, you know what, I don't want to do with this anymore. I'm just going to retire, take the very little signing bonus you guys gave me, and you can have my contract forever because I'm never coming back to the NFL. So I get it, but there are people who have done that. I'm not saying they haven't.
So to continue in fantasy for a little bit, so I think I'm gonna and Cody, I know because you're psychotic. Cody is psychotic about fantasy football. He just is.
Yeah.
I love Cody. He's an amazing human being, great friend. Psychotic about fantasy football. Also destroys our league every year. He has, like, by far, I think you're second, the best winning percentage.
Yep, he has the best winning percentage.
And it's like
he wins more than me.
It's like not even really it's like not super close, like but so he's great. So Cody, I'm not going to give you too much material here, because I remember last year him being like, oh, I saw on your podcast, maybe last year or 2 years ago, you said that you wanted this player, so I took him. And I'm like, dang it, Cody.
He has 4 more wins than I do.
Okay, well, it's not as much as I thought then.
Yeah, he's 38-18. I'm 34-22, and Arche and Reinhold are 31-25.
You know the crazy thing about Josh Reinhold is he started out the first year he was in was like 2-10 or something. It was like really bad, and his turnaround has been tremendous, including winning it all last year. I think I'm literally in last place in terms of players who have played like the longest or like a pretty good amount of time. So I'm gonna change how I draft. Honestly, I love how quick it is when you have a sleeper draft, like even in person when you have a sleeper. But I find that when you see the names listed there, you're like pressured, or I pressure myself, to take like someone with a very high ADP.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they're not your guy, even if you don't really believe in it, I'm not going to follow that this year. Not that I look at it and go, well, I got to take the number, I need a tight end, so I got to take the number one
I get
guy.
where you're coming from 100%.
But I'm going to trust my gut more this year. You know, I'm going to go with the 49ers draft strategy. I don't know if you remember from this year, but they took a lot of players that people were like, that certainly is a pick, you know?
Yeah.
But they're a really well-run team. They're always good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now, is it going to catch up with it? Anyway. But I'm going to trust myself. Not that I'm going to go to the very bottom and be like, whatever. That's why I kind of like Nick's draft. It's in person. Now, he gives you the thing, but it's not seeing it on the screen.
You only have that limited little window. So
seeing it on the screen and being really like, man, if I take a player 5 downs, people reach, you know. Yeah. And I don't care, because previously doing it and going, well, I'll take the chalk guy. What's it done for me? What's it done for me?
It's funny that you say that, because usually the way I draft is I actually am very like highly value dependent, but I also don't necessarily go by ADP as much either. Like last year when I got JSN in the 3rd round,
dude, and he's going like top 5 now.
He wasn't considered the best player available to that position, but I was just like, he was like maybe in the top 3, and I was like, I mean, it's wide receiver 1 for Seattle, and I just grabbed him. So I mean, I think there's a healthy balance between both, but I can certainly appreciate you being like, I'm not going to deal with this ADP crap, because the ADP crap is just, what do other people think of this player?
Right.
In majority.
And if that was the case, then essentially the player who has the first pick would win all the time.
Right.
And that, I don't want to say rarely happens, but I find that the people who win in our league generally have like a mid pick, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of thing.
Yeah, those third, fourth, and fifth round picks are the ones that make the difference usually.
One other thing, and it's true, because usually your first guy isn't usually going to be a huge bust, unless you're me and you take Malik Neighbors, and he does amazing and then gets hurt week 3.
I mean, he was still up. I don't fault you for making that pick. That was just unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, like, and that's who I took instead of CMC or HN, because that's who you took then. And except for the injury, I was not regretting it. But when you get hurt for the year, you get hurt for the year. It is what it is.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. But he was considered a premium wide receiver talent.
Oh, and when he was available, I think I was 11, right? Because you were 12. I was like,
yeah. Okay. If you had taken CMC, I would have probably taken Neighbors and HN like right there. Like it just happened to work out that way. So
I think the other thing I'm going to change. I say this every year. You look at a team, and someone has got to get the ball. Someone's got to score. Here's the thing, you two Bland. There are some teams that no one's got to score.
You've been saying this the last couple of years. Yeah, you've been saying
and I'm drilling it into my head. Yeah. Because when you have a team like I don't know who's the most inept offense. Like maybe the Jets again.
Probably the Raiders or the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the Jets too.
Yeah. So when you look at it and you go, well, someone's got to be the wide receiver one. You know what I mean, for these teams or whatever. You know, after Brock Bowers and Genty's gone with the Raiders, and you know it could be different. But like, just say you have a team and it's let's say the Titans last year, where you were like, oh my god, and you look and you go, well, someone's got to score. Like, they're the wide receiver one. They should be startable. No. Like, sometimes it's best to have good teams wide receiver 2 than bad teams wide receiver 1 kind of thing. So.
We'll see. I personally think that the Titans...
No. They're actually, when we go to the offseason, they're one of my teams that I think will turn it around. But that's an example, like last year, you know, going... I forget who the wide receiver 1 was for the Titans.
Yeah, not good.
Was it Ridley?
Yeah, it was probably
okay, and he was like not even like very startable, right?
Yeah.
So screw that. Again, I'm not gonna, when I go into the draft, I'm not gonna be searching the bottom. You know, with pick number 12, I'm not gonna be like, who's way down here?
Yeah.
But if my guy is listed as ADP 20, and I know he's not gonna be available for me, then screw it. I don't care. You know, not that I do, like I said, straight up chalk, but what has it gotten me? Literally going under 500 since I won the championship in, what was that now? 2022 or 2021 at this point? Screw it. Who do you got for sleepers?
Fantasy sleepers?
Yeah. This doesn't necessarily mean someone you're going to take, and you don't have to give information if you don't want to.
Jalen Coker is once again a sleeper for me.
You know about where he's been going?
No idea.
Okay.
I know he's...
it's got to be like...
He's getting higher
6,
now.
7, 8, something like that.
I know he's getting higher now from an ADP standpoint, but he just was super, super productive. And the only problem with him was just that he got hurt last year. Like, before the start of the season, which, as you remember, my heart was broken because I had him, like, I drafted him so late, and everyone was like, oh, that was such a great pick, and then he didn't play for, like, 8 weeks, but he was so good for Bryce Young, and Tedero McMillan is always going to be, like, the focal point of the offense, so Bryce Young and Jalen Coker just have such a good connection. Jalen Coker's a big dude, got really big hands, got really good hands, and he's just great at getting open. He's again, I signed him, and I got him last year at a very low, trying to even think of the word, but I didn't have to give up a lot for him. I kind of got him alongside something else for last year in Dynasty, and I've been holding him now, and now he's projected like 10.5 points week 1. Like,
that's startable.
That's very startable.
Yeah.
Other guys I have.
I'll tell you, if it helps you, I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
It's my sleeper is whatever quarterback I get very, very late in the draft. I always fight with RJ for being the last person to take their QB1. I don't see if I can't get, you know.
Oh, I have mine.
If I can't get Lamar, Josh Allen, whatever, then I will happily take... Dude, last year I started Jared Goff all year. It was great. I took him so late, and I was like, he doesn't run, obviously, but like Jared Goff had like 4,000 plus yards and 30 touchdowns or whatever. It's, you know,
It's fine.
I view it, unless you're a running quarterback, I view it, you know, give me, you know, not Kirk Cousins literally, but give me like Fernando Mendoza, you know, as my QB way laid down kind of thing. Just something like that, you know, give me that guy. And by the way, I think any of the top 3 defenses are like so set and forget that it's actually really valuable. Like if you give me like the Texans defense, you know, and that's not a crazy statement. Like the Texans defense, like, or the Broncos defense or whatever, like that's so invaluable to me with how good they are. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Your other sleeper guy?
Kyler Murray. That was the one I
fact that he can run too.
Well, he's also on the same Vikings, essentially the same Vikings offense that turned Sam Darnold into almost an MVP candidate. And he has a really good arm. Like, he's been in the league for a while. They just, like, announced this week that he's going to be the starter. Like, I very much think he could turn his entire career around in Minnesota. He's got a good coaching staff, great weapons all around him. Like, I think that he's been my sleeper. He's one of the dynasty quarterbacks I've been holding on to since last year, before Kyler was let go from the Cardinals. Like, I figured he was going to go somewhere, and it was a good situation for him. And he doesn't even have to stay with the Vikings this year. Like, he could ball out and then go get paid somewhere else. But right now, the Vikings are not paying him a lot of money. It's a great situation.
I saw Justin Jefferson, even with Kyler Murray being there, is going, like, relatively late for him. Like, I saw some mocks where he was going, like, end of round 1. Like, if you get to me at 12 and I can take Justin Jefferson, okay, you know what I mean?
People forget that Justin Jefferson's been very productive with other crappy quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray was still making DeAndre Hopkins pretty productive when he was there as well, I believe. So, yeah.
Do you have anyone that you're looking to avoid, or you think will be fantasy busts? I'll start with mine if that helps.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got this weird feeling about AJ Brown on the Pats.
I agree with that.
Now, listen, if he's there like 3rd, 4th round, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know where he's being mocked, but like, I would assume first 2 rounds. I just have this weird feeling. AJ Brown has all the talent in the world, obviously, but I just got this weird feeling. The other players I have some weird feelings about are both Bengals, which I think is just because Chase has so much target share.
Yeah.
Got a weird feeling about T. Higgins.
That makes sense.
Mostly from where he ends up going. He's not usually wide receivers too are like pretty late, but he's gonna go like, I don't know, 4th round, 3rd round, 5th round kind of thing. I feel like he's always my wide receiver too, and I'm always like angry about it. You know, I just got a weird feeling, and I also just have a weird feeling about Chase Brown, their running back. He's going very high. I'm talking like 1st round, and I don't know about that. Again, I'm not saying that they're bad players, but depending on where they are being drafted, you know. Again,
that makes sense.
Chase Brown gets to the 5th round for whatever reason, sign me up. You know what I mean? But for where they generally go, I just have a weird feeling about those 3 players.
Mine are probably, the other 2 I have are DJ Moore for the Bills.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that's going to be a really good fit for Josh Allen. I just don't know if I see it.
Do you think they're going to use him kind of like a Curtis Samuel kind of thing?
And if they do that, that's a disservice to what kind of player DJ Moore is.
But I have a feeling that's what they're going to do. Because they had Curtis Samuel, and they used him like Curtis Samuel.
If they do that, it'll probably work, but it'll probably not be what you want from a wide receiver 1 in the Bills offense either. So that's kind of what sketches me out, even though I've always loved DJ Moore, but he's just a certain type of player. And then, who was the other guy I just lost? Wow, forgot now.
He's that forgettable.
We can move on.
Okay.
If I think of it, I'll let you know.
But yeah, I don't know. Those are certain players I feel weird about.
Yeah.
I'm happy in Nick's league. They're all like ridiculous Philly homers, like way more than any other internet. So I'm so happy that Hurts is going to go like literally 1st round.
Super
like
early,
it's just it's ridiculous. And Devonta Smith is going to go super early. They're going to take Mekhi Lemon way too early.
Yeah.
And that's actually really helpful because I just stay away from them. And if somehow I get one, like a Dallas Goedert kind of thing, It's great trade bait because they are very, 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 very homer, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I like knowing people's homerism. Like just take Chris Boswell and then trade with RJ. Kind of thing.
You want this kicker? Yeah.
And well, to be fair, Chris Boswell is a great
kicker. Yeah, for fantasy.
Great kicker for fantasy. All right, I know we've been going on and on and on. I do want to talk about your Carolina Panthers preview. If you have anything more to add to what we previously said. I know we touched on them a lot, but I do have it written down as a general subject.
No, they've been injured to hell, so biggest thing I'm looking for is just seeing what their offensive line looks like when they're completely messed up. And they added Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips on the defense, linebacker Lloyd and edge rusher Jalen Phillips. They spent a lot of money on those on defense. So
a lot of people were saying that Jalen Phillips was a little bit of an overpay.
And I get why they're saying that, but Carolina definitely learned from the Milton Williams thing from last season, where Milton Williams was like basically locked in to sign with them, and then Patriots paid him just a little more, and he went and played for the Patriots.
And he did very well.
Yeah, where Jalen Phillips, like there were a couple different analysts I really respect who were like, Jalen Phillips, former Bronco, going to Carolina, where their defensive coordinator is also a former Bronco, is a perfect fit. And for that defense, they just went out and were like, here's all the money we can give you, take it. And he just took it. So it's edge rusher is a very premium position. And I've always liked that Carolina, this newer regime has focused on offensive line, defensive line. The rest of it, like, They get wide receivers in the draft. They get defensive backs in the draft. But like the front seven and the front five on the offense is the most important thing. Oh, Jonathan Brooks, the guy that everybody's written off for quite a while, could be really fun to watch this year too.
He is the running back that keeps getting hurt.
He was the one they drafted in the second round 2 years ago, where everyone thought he could have been a first round pick if he didn't tear his ACL in the college playoffs. Actually, it might have been the bowl game. So then he's just gotten hurt the last couple years, but he got hurt at the end of the 2024 season, so they just wrote him off for the entire 2025 season. So he is like full go right now. Like he's going to play this Saturday against the Bills.
Starter?
He won't be a starter, but
That's Miles Sanders still?
No, that's Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, okay.
But he's the like explosive element of their offense, not just running back, but explosive element of their offense, and he could be really fun to watch. Like that's a guy, if we're doing fantasy talk, like that's a guy, like make that late round flyer if you're just stashing running backs, because he could overtake that starting job halfway through the year.
What type of back is he?
Just really big, really, really fast. Like he's a very good pass catcher. Like he is the explosive but big running back that you're
big, like a LeGarrette Blount kind of thing.
Not like huge, but he's a tall guy, like long.
Okay.
But yeah, just extremely fast. He was the best running back athlete in that draft in 2024. He's a guy who can take it 70 yards to the house, like if he's healthy and is in a good situation. So, yeah.
If you had to give a record prediction right now, we're going to hold you to this.
We'll go with 9-8.
Okay. And is that playoffs or no playoffs?
Probably not playoffs, but it could be.
Okay.
But I have a feeling either the Falcons or the Bucks will come back with a vengeance, and the Panthers have a really rough schedule. But if they can make it to 9-8 where they don't regress, then that would be a successful season.
You'd be happy with that, though?
Yeah, because it's going to be a rough schedule for them. It just is. So, 9-8 would be fine.
So the Panthers go 9-8. Bryce Young, is this his last year?
He is on the 5th-year option next year.
Next year, okay.
Yeah, next year.
So they go 9-8. He's signed long term then?
If they manage to make the playoffs at 9-8 or better, he probably signs the extension. If they don't make the playoffs, it's up in the air. Yeah.
What's their plan then? I mean, drafting another.
They basically said that we're not making a decision on quarterback this year. We're going to revisit in the offseason. That's what they said. So.
It just seems like they are, in general, in a much better roster position than a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it's...
What happens when you don't mess up your drafts.
I feel like every year is... This is Bryce Young's make or break year. I feel like it's been that way for 3 straight years.
This one's probably the closest to to an actual reality make or break year, because if he goes backward and they only win 5, 6, or 7 games... there's a very strong chance that they're at least bringing in like strong competition, like a rookie quarterback or like a veteran who can compete. Or Haynes King, they'll just hand the reins off to Haynes King because he had that huge game on Friday.
Well, he's I love seeing that from someone who may not even make the roster. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, I love it too.
I'm rooting for Bryce Young. He seems humble.
Great guy.
Seems cool.
Yeah, really good guy. Really good play. A lot of players in the NFL respect him, not just Panthers players. Like, just a genuinely good guy. It just sucks the Panthers traded away DJ Moore and 2 first-round picks and a bunch of other draft picks for him because now Panthers fans have him marked for death no matter what he does. So, yeah.
All right,
so that's what I got.
9-8, maybe making the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're going to revisit that next year.
Yep.
Moving on to general stuff that happened in the offseason. So I'm just going to go through my list, and as you want to add on, just add on. So, biggest surprise of the offseason, pretty obvious. Myles Garrett getting traded to the Rams.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Donald coming back. It seems to be rumored so heavily that it would be more surprising if he didn't come back at this point, unless something's changed in the last couple of days.
So I think the Myles Garrett trade was actually in the works well before it happened, because it really made sense why the Rams went and drafted Ty Simpson at quarterback in the first round. Like, it didn't make sense at all at the time, but I think that they really needed to work out the details to get Myles Garrett. And now in hindsight, it makes all the sense in the world that they've traded for Myles Garrett, and they just like took that one last like draft pick shot they had on a quarterback to,
because they know they're not going to have a first round next
for a while,
year or whatever. Yeah.
So I think Donald was kind of just waiting to see if they pulled the trigger on that. I do think Donald will be back. Yeah, 100%.
I cannot wait for someone in that situation to utter the 2 words that will kill their season. Do you know what they are? Remember the Eagles from about 10 years ago? Dream Team, baby.
Yep. Dream
I can't
team,
wait.
baby.
I can't wait for someone to say that or something very similar to that.
Yeah.
Dream. If someone says that, I'm going to go, all right, put all your money against the Rams. Put all your money against them.
Yeah.
I have written down that Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza are wholesome.
They are wholesome.
They're I love so the Raiders in general, I think we can all agree, like, have like kind of like, I'm trying to think, like a more hardcore mentality. I mean, the black hole, right?
Yep.
Do they still have the black hole in Vegas? I feel like, I don't know if that was an Oakland only thing. Anyway, but dressed up like literal like pillagers and silver everywhere, right? Like it's a very, even though I'm sure as people those fans are like, a lot of them are very friendly or whatever, they still, spikes on, they look like, the band Gwar, they look like Gwar, rah, kind of thing. And then now your quarterbacks are Kirk Cousins, Mr. JCPenney himself, Cole's Cash, that's it, Cole's Cash, Mr. Cole's Cash himself, and Fernando Mendoza, who, how can you dislike him? I feel like even Chiefs fans would, like, if it's one of those players, like, if he destroys the Chiefs, they'd be like, well, I can't hate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He seems like a good guy. Like,
seems like a good guy.
Great to his mom, who's in ill health, just everything. Everything is, and, I mean, they're literally they're like, you got the whitest guy ever, and then you have Hispanic Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
it's just great.
I very much enjoy them, and I'm glad that they brought Kirk Cousins on to not throw Mendoza into the fire. And I think Kirk Cousins this time knew what he was getting into, rather than with the Falcons, where he was like, "What the hell, guys? You drafted a quarterback in the first round." Where Mendoza, he signed knowing what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we've talked about this at length in previous years, but I'm all for, when you draft, even number 1 overall, not putting him in immediately. I don't know if you recall, Drake May, that was supposed to be the plan for him to, maybe not even play the first year, and then Jacoby Brissett was just so bad that they, put him in, week 3, which I thought was, honestly, I mean, he's doing well, but too early. It's one of those things where
it's a sink or swim.
I totally understand, as the GM, as the head coach. I feel like that's where good ownership comes in. The owner goes to you and says, hey, we drafted Caleb Williams number 1. He's going to be our guy, but you have leeway.
Yeah.
You don't have to start him right now. I can guarantee you, unless you go out and do something very bad, like an Urban Meyer kind of thing, your job is safe for now. Play him when you need to play him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a conversation the owners should be having in that situation. Yep. Now, do they need to be redshirted for a whole year? I don't know. But it's one of those things where I think playing literally except for an Andrew Luck, week 1, even a Caleb Williams was very rough to start off with.
It was.
I feel like even giving him half the year to get those reps, to see what's up. Okay,
even just watch a live football game.
You're
I
losing.
haven't seen that.
You're losing by 20 points in the fourth quarter. Okay, put him in for a couple drives.
Yeah.
You lost. Whatever.
You can protect him if he doesn't have to take a sack. You can just let him throw the ball away. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, and I understand why teams do it. It's because their jobs are on the line and a GM's only safe for so long. But that's where good ownership, like, I hate the Eagles, but Jeffrey Lurie is a great owner.
A great owner.
Great owner. And they have a great GM who stopped trading with Howie.
They have a great, they also have a great relationship in the sense that, like, Lurie lets Howie do what he wants, and
and he knows that Howie's a good football mind, and like, I hate the Eagles. You can't dislike how Jeffrey Lurie runs the team. He goes, I write the checks, you do your thing. You know. I have written down, I wrote this before I wore the jersey. Honestly, I think Kyler is going to eat in Minnesota. I really do. Kevin O'Connell, I mean, that also goes to show how bad JJ McCarthy's been so far. I feel it's weird. I feel like in some parts he hasn't had a fair chance because he really only has had, like, I think 10 starts. But at the same part, it's been so bad that you're like, how long can you give him?
I saw a reel.
Is it one of those things where you're like, I've seen enough?
I saw a reel on Instagram of all, like, the lowlights with him, and I'm like, Jesus, man. Like, he looks like, if you remember Josh Allen in his first year in the league, where he had those, like, several plays a game, you're like, what are you doing? Like, that's what JJ McCarthy's been like.
But like every play.
Much longer.
Yes.
It wasn't just the 1 year where it's like, okay, you get your kinks out, it's fine. Like, but McCarthy has been a struggle.
But Josh Allen, at the same time, even in his first year, would have a couple plays where you're like, that's the worst play I've ever seen. But would have several plays where you're like, that's a really good play.
All of a sudden, then he guns the ball down the field, and you're like, well, only like maybe 2 quarterbacks could make that throw in the league. Okay.
And one of them somehow is Anthony Richardson.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Oh my God, that poor guy. Yeah.
You gotta. I mean, if you have all the talent in the world, then there's something either here or something.
I can't stay healthy for whatever reason.
That's also true. Yeah. I mean, you're big like Cam Newton, and you don't take hits like Cam Newton.
He's also not big like Cam, because when Cam got in the league, he was like 260 pounds, where like Richardson's like 220-ish, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, he also just doesn't take that part of like absorbing the contact is knowing how to take the contact. You can't just get rammed in the chest and expect the guy to be like healthy every time. Like Cam would put his head down and punish the guy back. So not every player's like that.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. Cam was special, obviously.
Yes, very special.
But yeah, I think Kyler is going to do well. I predict. So I'm pretty sure I predict. Yeah. Okay. I predict him coming in second in the NFC North.
Okay.
I think Kevin O'Connell is still great. I love the YouTuber football analysis. I always show his stuff on our group chat. But I think did you ever watch that one he did with the Panthers?
Probably.
Okay.
There's a lot of them I end up
watching. I get it. But he says that like this is probably a make or break year for Kevin O'Connell, which is so interesting to me because now I understand it being a make or break if he was like JJ McCarthy's my guy, you gotta get him, kind of thing. Then but if he's just giving JJ McCarthy, I don't know about that. It's one of those things where like the grass is always greener, but who are you replacing him with? Right. I have written down, I don't do much draft stuff, but Ruben Bain going so late.
That pissed me off, man.
15th. And now the Panthers picked before 15, right? Or were they after?
They would have been after because they made the playoffs. Okay. Yeah, they picked Freeling at like 17.
Yeah, and 18. I think the Lions were like 18 or 19. They were like one pick behind them or 2 picks behind them.
Yeah.
But that was crazy. That amount of drop was absolutely nuts.
It's again why the NFL draft is stupid. It was the same thing with so many other guys. They were like, he has really short arms, so we're worried about him. It's like, did you watch him play in college? You just wrecked people.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if his arms are short if he's throwing the guy on the freaking ground? Yeah. Like, Yeah, I was so mad about that one.
That's one of those things where, like, I'm a I don't want to say a big baseball fan anymore, but the thing that has gotten me like turned off from baseball is like stuff like that, where like not. Is there a statistic for he got that dog in him? No.
Right.
But sometimes he got that dog in him, right? And there's certain baseball has become so analytical where like. You have a pitcher like you've heard of Greg Maddux.
Yes.
Never threw hard, but he has like 350 wins because he could place that ball perfectly, right?
Right.
But nowadays with baseball, it's, the spin rate isn't high enough, so this guy's not going to get a chance. You know what? Sometimes a guy doesn't have to throw 100, doesn't have to have this super spin rate, doesn't have to have whatever weird VORP, thing that sometimes a guy just has the dog in him.
Yeah, sometimes
you know what
he
I mean?
can just throw the ball and where it needs to be on that given swing.
And you know this player, he's not throwing 100. You know, there's special players like Paul Skeens, but sometimes there's players where if he needs it right on the outside corner, he's gonna hit that outside corner. And baseball nerds have just made it like, put the spin rate, you know. And I kind of feel about that with especially the NFL draft. And there's so much time for them to look at all the measurables and when he jumps, he only hits this thing so high. It's like, okay, how many times, unless you're like a D lineman, are you jumping straight up to go like that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, it's the same thing. I think I talked about it last year, but there was like this weird, like Tedero McMillan should have been a top 5 pick. He just should have been. And there was this weird like online presence where people were like, well, he's not very physical at the point of attack, and he doesn't run he doesn't run the most crisp routes, and he can get beat and press. And I'm sitting there like, did you not watch like the best wide receiver in college just tear people up every week, like every single week? And there was people who were like, his route profile compares to Michael Pittman, and I'm like, did you not see this guy? Like he can catch. The dude does ballet. Like he was a volleyball player. Like how do you not see a guy who, like, how do you not see this guy go up and grab a pass, like, from, like, Moss a guy, and think, oh, you know what, he's not going to succeed in the NFL? Like, dude, like, and it was the same thing it was the same thing there. Like, there was all these people talking him out of being, like, a top 5 pick where he made it to, like, 8 for the Panthers, and meanwhile the Rams were trying to get up and draft him. We're trying to get ahead of the Panthers and draft him, and it's like, same thing with Ruben Bain. Like, all these nerds were just talking themselves out of a guy who just threw people around for a living on Sundays or Saturdays. Like, it's just stupid. It's all dumb.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, 15, that was crazy. Yeah,
I was so mad. Like, if he had made it to the Panthers pick, I would have been mad if they didn't take him. Like, I'm like, even just take him.
Sometimes you got to go for need, and sometimes BPA just falls to you, and you go, okay.
It's the Eagles all the way. Same thing for the past how many years?
I'm always so
pissed.
Best
defensive lineman falls to him, and they just take him, and every time you're like, son of a bitch, they can't keep getting away with this.
Like Jalen Carter, it's like, he had his off-field stuff, but he was just like god tier at football, and teams are like, well, and it's just like,
you know, he might get suspended, and you're like, bruh, just draft the defensive lineman who will wreck the entire offensive line.
That's why one of my favorite moves of the offseason was trading the Bengals trading for Dexter Lawrence, because they had pick 10 and they traded it. You know that famous Family Guy thing? You could have the boat or the mystery box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, but they traded the number 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence. It's like, Dexter Lawrence is Dexter Lawrence. He is very good. What is the Bengals' problem? Defense only, right?
Yeah.
Like, their offense is amazing. He is going to be the guy in the middle to stop everything. But they could have...
Make your entire defense better.
They could have drafted Dexter Lawrence. We'll take the box. You know what I mean?
Let's just take Dexter Lawrence.
I thought, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like, now, you know, if they were guaranteed with a crystal ball that Ruben Bain was there, I don't know.
But even then, Ruben Bain,
he was supposed to go.
Problems.
He was supposed to go much earlier. And yes, exactly. That's their big thing is. I mean, dude, teams just ran on them.
So get the guy who is going to change, who's going to take up 2 or 3 guys and make the rest of the defense's lives easier.
Yeah.
Like, for all you know, Ruben Bain would be a great pass rusher and gets abused on passing or in rushing downs in the NFL. Yeah. No, I agree with your mindset there. Yep. 100%.
People were like, but the 10th pick. I'm like, get out of here. Like, straight up for an amazing player, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like an amazing player and it's his last year. He's like 25 or 26 or 27.
No, he's still very much in his prime.
You're going to get good years out of him.
Yeah.
I have written down that we talked about this. DJ Moore will somehow still be misused in Buffalo. I feel like everywhere he's been, including to an extent Carolina, he's just been misused. I don't know what it is about it, but I just feel like they don't...
He's a catch and run guy. He always has been. Like, when he's at his best is when you just either chuck the ball downfield to him and let him just go run and grab it, like, or just find him on a crossing route or like a slant route or something where you just throw the ball and just say, go take off. Like, he's never been like the Tedero McMillan where he's going to go beat a guy downfield 50-50 pass. He's just never been that guy. He's always been like... Run fast that way.
Whenever I saw DJ Moore on the Bears and it was a freaking wide receiver screen, I was like, but why? and mostly before Ben Johnson, because they use him a little bit better. But like, especially before, it would be like, all right, and it's DJ Moore on a wide...
Yeah.
Okay. You know, and he would get like 4 yards or whatever, and I'm like... but why?
He needs a few steps to get started, but he was always a guy that was hard to take down once he was really running. But
I just have a feeling that they're going to use, in Buffalo, they're going to use DJ more like a Deebo Samuel kind of thing, where it's going to be him running, what are those called? Jet sweeps.
Yeah.
And wide receiver screens and little out routes. When in
and they
reality,
work in small doses,
I have a feeling that's going to be like his major pro. I don't know why, but I hope I'm wrong because like I don't dislike the Bills at all. In fact, if you were besides like the Lions who like really desperately need a Super Bowl and this is kind of their window, I would be okay with like if you were like Bills won the Super Bowl, I'd be like cool,
yeah,
great,
why
like
not?
Great fan base. Yeah, I have nothing against Josh Allen. Why not? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole Max Crosby trade / not trade. I feel like that's not even talked about anymore, but that was such a weird situation.
Yeah, it was.
He's traded, and then he fails the designation, the injury.
He failed his physical.
Yeah, he failed the physical, and then all of a sudden he's like good enough to still play for the Raiders. And Max Crosby seems like one of those guys that takes like everything very seriously, right? And like I feel like for him it'd be like a slap to the face that he was traded by the Raiders, but then he's back and he's like, I'm good. Like it's just that was such a weird, and people haven't been talking about it.
I think that was almost their way of being like, go off to greener pastures, Max. You deserve it. Like,
yeah. But now they're looking like a better team, you know.
Well, the Ravens. It's funny too because I've heard so many times where like physicals between teams are different. Where like one guy, I think it was actually Ross Tucker, said that he worked out for one team, failed his physical, and then went like the next week to another team and they passed him on his physical. So it's like. It's all dumb.
It could have been one of. Do you think it was one of those things where with the Ravens they were just looking for any single thing?
I think they had buyer's remorse and they realized how much they were giving up for it, and I think they also knew they were getting the other guy that they signed too.
Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, once they realized they could get Trey Hendrickson, it was like we could have them both, but we probably don't need them both. So like,
yeah,
maybe just say he's not physically fit to compete, and we'll just move on. So,
yeah. You're probably right about buyer's remorse. It's kind of like when you're like looking at a car and you decide like you don't want it.
Yeah.
But you like notice like, oh man, there's that little tiny spot right there. Oh man, damn. Well, gonna walk away from this, you know, and it's like clearly there's nothing wrong with it, but you're like, oh man.
You just find the reason to walk away from.
Oh man, so what if I'm driving this on the moon later? Like I'm just worried about the shocks on it, you know.
Right. Exactly.
How do these shocks work in low gravity? Oh boy, jeez.
There's that one little streak that the moon's really going to highlight. Can't do that. Yep.
Speaking of the shocks going bad, my last one I have for general offseason stuff is I think Mike Evans is the perfect fit for the 49ers. Drum roll, please. Wait for it, because he's just going to get hurt.
That's great. That's great. I was going to be like, how are you putting this? But yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
I love Mike Evans, and I know you probably like
appreciate
him, but yeah, as a Panthers fan.
Yeah.
But like it's so funny how of all teams, like he went to the one with the exact same color profile. So it's like, you know, like Brady going from wearing like blue to red and white and whatever, but it's like, it's literally the same color scheme. And I hope he does well. And obviously now with Ricky Pearsall out for the year, like if he stays healthy, he's going to get, he might, I don't know. I don't know how early he'd go in fantasy, but if you could get him like mid rounds and he doesn't get hurt, I don't know. You know, that might be an interesting one.
It's a volatile offense.
Because who's their other wide receivers now? Because what's his name's not there anymore. The gadget player that they had. Ayuk's obviously not there anymore. There's no Pearsall.
They brought back the gadget player you're thinking of, I believe.
Oh, they did? I thought he went to a different team.
Deebo Samuel?
No. Yeah. But the Juwan Jennings is what I'm thinking.
Oh,
Juwan Jennings left.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings left.
They drafted Deshaun Stribling. They still have Christian Kirk, Demarcus Robinson. So yeah, I mean that's very much a job he could run away with.
Yeah.
I've heard good things. Deshaun Stribling was a second round pick, so it's possible he comes in and contributes like right away. But yeah, Evans definitely has the fast track in that offense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other just general offseason stuff that you're like, whoa, that was a thing?
Biggest thing for me is just that I think people are sleeping on the Chargers too much. And I always say that the Chargers our team is being slept on, but their offensive line was beat to hell last year.
It was.
So they have their offensive line coming back, which they had two strong offensive tackles, like really strong core there.
Out most of the year.
Built up their defense. They have good wide receivers, good tight end. Justin. Shit. No, why was it escaping me? Their quarterback is going to not have to.
Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert is going to have like time behind a good offensive line. They'll have another year with a Marion Hampton, some good running backs behind him. I think the Chargers are going to be a really good team next year.
Do you know what haters of Justin Herbert call him?
No.
If man.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's great.
Because Justin Herbert's the ultimate for those who don't follow him super. He is like, if you made a quarterback in a lab.
Yeah.
It pretty much 6'5", yeah. Great arm, he can run,
yeah.
you know. But like it seems like every year they're like, oh, because you did it as well. And I don't say this as a bad thing because I agree, yeah. But it's like, oh, they would have won last year, but the O-line, oh, but his receiving core, you know, so they call him if man, where it's like, if he had a good O-line, oh my goodness. So, and I'm not saying I agree with that. Hell, I could end up with him as my fantasy quarterback, you know, because I have a feeling.
I traded away Javonte Williams for Justin Herbert because I needed a quarterback because mine were terrible. But yeah, I was like, I needed a quarterback.
I could see that. I mean, John Harbaugh has always been a winner. Yeah. You know, it just, they just need
another year in the scheme.
Yeah.
Should be good. So
man, just the more I'm hearing, like, I'm like, I had a Marion Hampton last year and it kind of screwed me because he got hurt. But like, man, if he's available,
freak injury.
If he's available, like somewhat early, or somewhat middle or whatever, where I can get him, boy howdy.
They're way over talking the whole like him being in a committee too. Like they spent first round draft stock on him. He's gonna be a third, like an every down player, even if they mix him out every now and again. He's just gonna bruise people. He's exactly the kind of player that Jim Harbaugh wants to run with. So, yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Who is your most improved team? And I think we might, based on where we were talking earlier, I think we might have the same answer. Would you like me to go first?
Go ahead.
Titans.
Yeah, I'd say the Titans.
They
had a really good draft.
Yeah, they had a really good draft. We're at the point where, like, if you go and your head coach...
I have a number 2 just to deviate from you.
If you are the head coach of the Jets, it doesn't even count anymore.
Yeah.
Like Robert Saleh. Like, you can't even go and go like, oh, he was like a failure with the Jets, because they're just so cursed.
Right.
That it's just like, oh, he won't be a good... I think with the draft they had, with that defense... with Brian Dable as the offensive coordinator, maybe not the greatest head coach, and there are coaches like that where they're just not meant to be a head coach, but they're amazing coordinators. Jim Schwartz is probably the first one that comes to mind. Not a great head coach, but that dude is a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. I just think, and with Robert Saleh, I don't know if he's calling the defense or not, but I feel like he's a Dan Campbell type where, you play for him real hard. I forget, did I share that thing of the offseason where it was what head coaches would win in a fight? And I think everyone had it. The finals was Dan Campbell versus Robert Saleh. And I think that would be a good one regardless of how you look at it. The top 3 were Dan Campbell, Mike Vrabel, and Robert Saleh, and I agree with all of them. You could take anyone as the winner in that hypothetical fight. But I think that they're going to be a pretty solid team. Do I pick them to make the playoffs? No, but they had the first... did they have the first pick again this year? Yeah. They had the first pick again this year. And no, the Raiders did, but they had like second or third. They took Carnell Tate.
They took Carnell Tate.
But you're not like, I could definitely see 6, 7, 8 wins kind of thing. Like, they are on the upswing, and I'm really happy for Titans fans, including your brother, who's a Titans fan.
Yeah, he is very happy.
Your other team?
So I actually had the Browns.
Okay. Even because let me ask you this: with what quarterback?
Deshaun Watson, probably.
Okay.
I think this is a situation where they'll eventually pick one horse and run with it, where they're just kind of trying to work through it. But the main reason is I just like their drafts. They spent 109 on Spencer Fano, then they spent 124 on Casey Conception, wide receiver. One guy I was really high on this year. Then they spent their second round pick 207 on Denzel Boston. Like, that's just a huge injection.
So I don't know much about him, but all I heard was he should have went way earlier.
Yes, he should have went way earlier. So they injected a shit ton of talent into that offense, and they really needed it. Like, defense was not their problem last year, which, granted, losing Myles Garrett, though, also the fact that
Jared Verse is pretty good.
They got Jared Verse back in that trade.
Darn good.
That made me that made me realize that the Browns did not want to make that trade. They absolutely did not want to. Like, the only reason Jared Verse was thrown in there was like, we need this guy or we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And so, the fact that they gave away Garrett, got a bunch of draft capital back, and got Jared Verse, who's very good, and just injected a crap ton of talent into that offense. Like, they may not be good this year, but they are definitely trending in the right direction.
Do you think Jared Verse is that much worse than Myles Garrett
No, I
to
don't.
solicit all that?
No, I mean, he's not.
He's a really good player.
He's not going to push for the sack record like Myles Garrett, but he was such a good disruptive, pressure-generating defensive lineman for the Rams. Like, he's going to fit in like a glove with that defense, which was already good. So that sure they'll take a step back because Garrett's gone, but their defense was like. Their defense was that one defense where like teams did not want to play them last year. Like they made every team a bloodbath for even though they usually lost them, they were always close. Like so they injected all that talent in. They really didn't drop off that much by getting a premium young talent at that in Verse, who I think's only been in the league for like 4 years. Like yeah, like the Browns offseason just was really impressive to me for a team that's everyone thinks is a joke. Like, yeah.
I watched far too many Browns games last year.
Yeah.
And it was amazing with how, I'm sorry, I know he's a Pro Bowler, but how awful Shadur Sanders was.
Yeah.
Just, you would watch it and it was just god awful.
Yeah,
and somehow they were still in almost every game in the fourth quarter. And Shadur would have the ball with a chance to tie it or take the lead or whatever. And obviously they normally didn't because it was Shadur and he wasn't very good. But like, that is a hell of a job of coaching.
Yeah.
Dude, Stefanski got fired, right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous move. Ridiculous move.
Yep.
Ridiculous. With what he was doing, with what they had on offense, ridiculous move. And that's I when I heard that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I thought, well, he's going to get hired in 5 seconds, and he did. He got hired in 5 seconds.
He's actually Kevin Stefanski's actually a local boy. So when at work through a couple people I met with professionally and found out I was like a big football fan. They're like, so what do you think of Kevin Stefanski? Think he's going to get a job? I'm like, he'll get a job. He'll get a job. It's fine. And he did. He got his job.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you have as your team that will regress the most?
Regress the most?
I can start with mine.
Go ahead. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's going to be a hater pick. The Bears.
That's not a bad one. Yeah.
I try to, no one can be totally like outside of it, but I try to view it as, do I think they'll have that much magic? And a lot of their wins, sometimes you look, a win is a win and a loss is a
100%.
loss.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you look at it and you go, oh wow, they went whatever they went, 11-6 or 12-5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of those wins were really miraculous.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a statistic in baseball called BAPIP, batting average on balls in play.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like you have a year and your batting average on balls in play is so high, you can almost guarantee that there's going to be a regression next year because you can't get that lucky. Now, was a lot of it skill with Caleb Williams just being like meme magic kind of thing? At some point it runs out.
Yeah, it does.
At some point it runs out. Even for someone like the Chiefs, where they had that 1 year, 2 years ago when they got destroyed by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Their record in one score games was like 10-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't care who you are. You can be the 07 Patriots, and you can't pull that off for that long. No. And I just have a feeling, just based on all that, and just taking all those games that they won, taking miraculous comebacks, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be 4-13 or anything like that, but like I don't have them winning the NFC North, and I do not have them making the playoffs.
Okay, gotcha. I'll give you a 2 for this one. I think both the Patriots and the Broncos are due for a little bit of a regression.
Patriots for sure.
Biggest reason is just that now you know what you're dealing with in Bo Nix, and now you know what you're dealing with in Drake May.
Well, and their schedule too.
And you always see like once a team has a full season of film on these guys, they're no longer like super new. They know how to play him a little better.
Dude, that's how I felt. Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, that's how I felt about CJ Stroud. And that's what you mentioned the other day that, like, I said it. And I really felt it. I don't know why. I just felt it. And I feel that way about the Pats in general. Do I think they're going to go 4-13? No, they're too talented for that.
Very good.
But are they going to be anywhere near last year's team in terms of record? I don't think so as well. So that's a good one. That's a good one. And you got to throw in the Broncos there so Sean Payton doesn't do as well.
I hate on him all the time. Yeah.
We're getting to the wrap up section. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about besides play, we've done really well here.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the standing or the.
So I'm gonna go. Every year we give our playoff predictions. So last year I had 3 out of 8 division winners. correct, and Brian had 3 out of 8 division winners correct.
Yep.
I had 8 out of 14 playoff teams, which is actually
not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I if you would have told me I had 5 out of 8 division winners, I would have said not bad. I think 3 out of 8's not great.
Yeah.
Personally, but 8 out of 4 playoffs is pretty good. And Brian had 8 out of 14 playoffs.
We had a lot of the same picks,
and we both did not get the Super Bowl right at all, or the championship games right at all.
We almost never do, but
yeah. So we technically completely tied last year. So congratulations, we tied.
Yeah, we did.
It's like I'm watching the World Cup all over again. There's ties.
Yay, we tied.
We tied.
Ooh.
We played 120 minutes and we tied. But we're moving on to our... By the way, I'm going to ask Brian this next, July or August. This is the part, Brian, where you start watching and you start writing down so I don't have to watch this whole video to get our playoff predictions. Here it is, okay? All right. You're watching future Brian? Yes, I am. Okay, Here we go. All right. Playoff predictions. We're going to start with the AFC. That's okay with you. And we're going to go with division winners. AFC, let's do it like this. You do the first one. Like that, you say it first, and then for the second one, I say it first. Then
okay.
So AFC East.
AFC East. Gotta go with the Bills. I have to.
I also have the Bills.
Yeah.
I think that they have an easier schedule than the Pats. Yeah. I think that the Pats, like I said, that it was just kind of lightning in a bottle, and they weren't as good as their record indicated. Got to go with the Bills. Also, isn't this their first year at their new stadium? Or is that next year?
Might be. I'm not sure.
It shouldn't matter too much, but as long as Josh Allen's your quarterback,
You'll be all right.
Finally.
Yeah.
Okay. This one might be contentious. AFC North, I'll start with this one. I'm going to say it again. I say it, you know what I'm going with. I say it every year. I'm always wrong, but this time I'm right. And that is the Bungles.
The Bungles.
The Bungles.
Joey Ice.
I swear to God, I say it every year, and I sound like a Cowboys fan at this point. But if Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt, I think, listen, I don't think the Ravens are as good as they previously were. I think the Steelers are a solid 9-8 team. I think the Browns are up and coming, but I don't think they're a division winner yet. And you have the Bungles. I love the Dexter Lawrence move. Their draft was pretty solid, all things considered, even though they didn't have a first-round pick. And you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I know I said negative things about him in fantasy, but fantasy is different from real life football. It just
you can still be effective.
You can be,
relevant.
I mean, it just and especially for where he's drafted. I think their O-line has been improved. I think their defense has improved. I got the Bungles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
I have a hard time betting against them.
I get it. I just don't think they're as good as they were previously.
No,
I think they're. I think. Let me say this: there are a couple teams. There are 3 teams that I view as their windows are closing, not closed, closing.
Mm-hmm.
And those teams are the Ravens, the Bills, unfortunately. And very unfortunately, the Lions. I just have a weird feeling that if the Lions don't get to the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, I think now are they going to be a 4-13 team with Dan Campbell? I don't think so with that core, but their ability to win the Super Bowl is in the next couple years for all those teams. Because at some point with Lamar's a little long in the tooth now, it's like his 6th year, 2019 he was 2018 or 20 but 6th or 7th year, right? He's going to get to the point, no matter how good he is, where his running is going to be less effective.
Yep.
And he's going to become more of a pocket quarterback, have to be, kind of thing. And can he become Vic with the Eagles, who was more of a pocket quarterback kind of thing? I don't know. But I really feel like this is their window now for those 3 teams, personally. Okay, so we disagree on that one. I think we might have the same winner on this one, though. The AFC South, you may start.
I'm going with the Colts.
Okay, we don't have the same winner on this one. Explain your Colts.
They were really close last year, and they didn't change a whole lot. They let Michael Pittman go. That's fine, but they're a well-coached team. I think they're going to do a little better this year. They have a little bit better idea who they are.
And I thought about it. I like Danny Dimes. Yeah. I have no reason to dislike him as a person or a player.
Yeah.
I would be happy for them. I think they have a pretty good fan base. However, I have the Jags. I know that every year there's like a 50% turnover rate in terms of division winners and playoffs ones, but just going on how electric that team was last year, I think they went 13-4. And I looked at it,
They lost a lot of good talent, though.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, but I think they still have a very good core. They did not have a good draft.
Yeah.
By almost anyone's measures, but do I think that affects this year? No. Do I think it affects 2, 3, 4 years from now? Probably.
Yeah.
So I would be happy with either one. I think the Titans will play spoiler.
Yep.
Be close to 500, if not 500. And I want to say the Texans because that is we don't use this word too loosely, but a generational defense.
Very good.
Oh my God, defense, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can literally look at that defense and on every level be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have like the Eagles where you're like, wow, their D-line is amazing, and their cornerbacks and secondary is also incredibly good. But their linebackers, kind of thing. This one, you look at every level and you're like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
They literally, if CJ Stroud and their offense scores 17 plus points on average a game, they win 75% of their games.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I'm still picking the Jags there.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we might disagree on this one as well. The AFC West, I have a feeling I know who you're saying based on our conversation earlier.
This is your turn.
Oh, this is my turn.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say Sean Payton and the Broncos.
Yep, I disagree. Chargers. I'm on that train, man.
I know I gave the copium for the Bungles, but I feel like if I'm going to give the copium for the Bungles, I can't do it for both the Bungles and the Chargers.
No.
And if man, I want to believe. I want to believe.
I'm pitching most of my fantasy season to it, or my dynasty season to it, but I do believe. I think
that's fair.
I think they'll unlock Justin Herbert. They'll wake up that running game, and he'll be lighting up defenses with those wide receivers. So I'm full all systems go.
Due to their schedule, I also put the Broncos as the 1 seed. If we have a tiebreaker for next year, let's do the 1 seeds if that's okay. So out of your 4 that you picked, one of them would have to be the 1 seed then. And I looked at it and I can't see any of those other teams being the 1 seed.
I'll go with the Bills.
Okay, I thought about it.
Yeah.
So if we somehow tie, you have Bills as 1 seed, I have Broncos as 1 seed.
Yep.
Wild cards. We got 3 wild cards. I'll start with my wild card 1. I hate it, but the Chiefs, I can't pick them not to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, I hope they don't, but they'll probably make the playoffs.
Yep. I'll go with Broncos as the first wild card.
Yeah. So a drop off, but not like a drop.
Not a huge one, no.
Wild card 2. I wasn't fully against you there. I have the Ratbirds, aka the Ravens. I still think they're a very good team. I looked at all the teams and I thought, I don't think the Steelers will make it. I think their 9-8 dynasty is over, and I think the Ratbirds are just too good not to make the playoffs.
Wild card 2 for me, Houston Texans.
Okay, and again, if their offense does anything, David Montgomery going to them is pretty key because their running back room was not great last year, and I think Montgomery is still a really good player. Is he a bell cow you want to get the ball 30 times a game? No, I don't think he ever was, but I think he'll help a lot. So every year I have one that is out of left field. Last year it was the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Which I was way wrong. But dude, stuff like that happens in the NFL.
It does. And
here is my out of left field one, and I talked about them a lot, and I must have believed in myself when I wrote this down. Wildcard 3, the Titans.
I'm not going to do the left field thing with this. I'm going to go with Patriots.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like every year there's 1 or 2 teams where you go.
There will be 100%.
Whoa,
it's going to be, and we're going to be super shocked looking back at it and be like, "What? Like it could be the Browns for all we know."
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, did anyone in 2020 have the Browns going to the playoffs and beating the Steelers? You know, it's football. Yeah. Okay, yes, absolutely. Sorry, RJ. Yeah. Because I know if there's one person that probably watches this the whole way through. Yeah. When he's at work, it's probably RJ.
Sorry, buddy, but I hate Baker Mayfield now, just like you. So yeah.
I can never hate Baker, dude.
I hate him.
And you know the funny thing is, I usually hate players that are boisterous. that are like in your face or whatever, but there's something about like I don't feel it's fake. I feel like when he gets up,
he's very fiery.
When he gets up and he's all fiery, like there was that, I think it was against the 49ers where he made a play and he got absolutely whacked and he immediately got up and got in their face like, what? Yeah, you think you got me down? You know, I don't know. There's something about that. I love it. I also feel bad that he was really mishandled with the Browns and they kicked him out of town to get their pretty Deshaun Watson. And I feel like he was also, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Brian, mishandled with the Panthers.
He was. I mean, he had to come in halfway through training camp, which sucked. But then we found out Matt Rule was a joke. So,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, my God, Matt Rule. Wow.
Yeah.
And then I feel like he didn't even have like a really great chance with the Rams because he was brought in for 5 seconds.
No, he did not.
Okay, so I think you don't have the Bungles at all. You don't have the Jags at all.
Nope.
And you don't have the Titans at all. So I think we disagree on 3. No, did you have the Chiefs at all?
I did not.
Oh, so we disagreed on 4. So decent chance.
Yeah.
All right, going to the NFC. NFC East. Who did the last? Let's start with you.
NFC East.
Now, it should be mentioned they finally broke the streak. Of every year having different teams winning the division. The Eagles won twice in a row.
Yeah.
So that is broken. That's done.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Have to.
It's fair. It's fair. That would put them at 3 in a row. They're a great team even without AJ Brown. And who knows? And Eagles fans would say that they're better without AJ Brown.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon could be very good.
Could be very good.
So,
could be very good. You know who I got to go with? Them boys.
Them boys.
Them boys.
Right, them boys.
I believe in Matt Eberflus was that bad. Was that bad that he caused that? I mean, that defense was a little devoid of talent, but I also feel like Jerry Jones is so interesting as a GM/owner because sometimes he'll make just the worst move humanly possible, and then he'll make the most brilliant move humanly possible. It's really odd.
It is odd. Yeah.
The trade for what's his name, Quinnen Williams. Great defensive tackle. George Pickens, great move, you know. So, I don't know. I just have a feeling it'll be them boys this year. So, disagree on that one as well.
Yep.
NFC North, this would be you. No, wait. This would be me.
This is you, yeah.
You know who I'm going with. I'm going with my boys.
Lions,
them Lions. This was the most competitive. The Lions came in, by the way, 4th place last year at 8-9, I believe they were.
Yeah.
They might have been 9-8. In fact, they were 9-8 because they won the last game and they went over 500. They came in 4th place at 9-8. It's a great division, but as I said, I believe the Bears are due for a regression. I don't believe in Jordan Love. I know sometimes he'll make that play that you're like, holy crap, but he makes equally as many plays as you go, I don't see it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And although I think Kyler Murray is going to eat with the Vikings, and I think they have a great defense, I trust the Lions' overall roster more. I think their overall roster is still great.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to go with the Bears.
It's like I'm having a conversation or arguing with my wife Ash. I agree with everything you said. Here's why the opposite.
Yeah. This is why you're wrong. Yeah.
That's how you can tell people can be good friends, where it's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but 100% different.
Yeah,
I get it.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think two in a row for the Bears then?
I could see it. They're going to have one of the best offenses in football. Ben Johnson wants that. Like, he wants to be like, he's going for one of the highest scoring offenses in football history. And that's the kind of approach you take when you want to rip that division away from everybody else. I respect it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Their defense was very opportunistic last year. They had a very high amount of turnovers, and no matter how good of a defense you are, that is very year to year.
Yeah, there's always regression to the mean.
It just is what it is. It's just like the BABIP that we were talking about in baseball. And one of their starting safeties just got hurt.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, cornerback. He's a cornerback, I think.
I thought it was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it was Kobe Durant or something.
It was Kobe Bryant. Yeah. But it's spelled differently.
It's like COBY or something.
I think he's a cornerback. Anyway, but he was going to be one of their starters.
It was one of their. Yeah, he was knocked out.
And he's out for
6
like
weeks.
Yeah, and maybe more.
Probably longer. Yeah, they always say 6 weeks, but then you have to come back from the injury too. So
So I still got Lions. I think it'll be a fun division. I think the Lions schedule is, by the way, pretty there's no easy schedule, but they have a lot of winnable games there. So I have a good feeling. NFC South, this is you. Say it. Say it.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
You're going to say the Falcons. Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were going to. So do you think...
almost said the Saints, but it's just I feel like they're one season away from being right there. Even though they're really good at beating other teams in the NFC South.
Kellen Moore, it seems like a good head coach.
Yeah.
They outplayed expectations last year. Here's the thing. They were expected to be so bad last year. Now they're expecting to be decent.
Yeah.
How does that change things,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
So with Tua as quarterback?
I think so. I mean, I think between him and Penix, it's not going to be that big of a difference. I mean, they just need to feed the ball to Bijan, feed the ball to
Drake London.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts too. Yep.
Kyle Pitts too.
Yep. I think they drafted a wide receiver too, if I'm not mistaken, or they signed one. But yeah,
I didn't pay attention much to their draft. I think that Tua is a little too clowned on.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty decent quarterback. So when he went to the Falcons, people were like, whatever, they're bad. But like that's a good roster.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
However, I have your Carolina Panthers as the NFC South winners.
About that one.
Be happy to be wrong. I thought about it. Boy, I want to say the Bucks. I do. I literally want to say the Bucks because I like Baker Mayfield, but there's been a lot of nonsense going on there with Vita Vea once out. Reuben Bain's going to help tremendously. Mike Evans is gone. Not that he was really much there, but last year. But Chris Godwin's getting up there. Bucky Irving, I've been hearing things about just maybe unhappy. I've just been hearing a lot of stuff, and man, sometimes your head coach will determine one or two wins, and I think that Todd Bowles is that bad of a head coach at at game managing decisions that he's going to be punting from the opponent's 42 on 4th and 3, and it's going to affect him at some point. This is an exciting division that I do think if you told me any of those three teams besides the Saints won, I'd be like, yeah. If you told me the Saints won, I'd be like, oh wow, what happened?
Yeah,
you know
you
what
can
I mean?
sell me on actually any of the teams winning at this point.
Well, and I don't want to. It's not as ridiculous as saying, oh, the Jets won the division this year, but I would be surprised if the Saints won. I wouldn't be floored. If the Jets won, I would be floored.
Yeah.
You know, or if the Dolphins won the division, I'd be floored. But I don't know. It's going to be a close division.
It will be.
And then NFC West. This is me.
Yeah.
Rams. I hate to say it. I also have them as the 1 seed. I don't know if you want to give me.
Yeah, that's where I have them. Yep, 1 seed Rams easily.
They are very, very talented. They traded for that Chiefs cornerback as well. They are obviously in win now mode.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stafford still got it. My God, Puka's been going 3rd overall, which I don't blame. It's one of those you're going even on a loss, like a bad loss, you're going to get 25 points, 20 points out of him.
Yeah.
Stafford has just always been that guy. He has his guy, and he just focuses it in. You know, Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Puka.
Well, he has 2 of them on the same team with Devontae Adams, too. So, because he was hitting Devontae Adams like crazy for touchdowns last year. So,
he led the league in touchdowns. So, with Sean McVay, now if you're talking team winning it 4 years from now, I don't know, because Stafford won't be all right at this, but they're clearly in win now, and they're like, let's just do it. Let's do it.
Pull it out. Yep.
Okay, so we agree there, and we agree on the 1 seed. Wild card 1. I think this is your turn.
Wild card 1. I'm going to go with the Lions.
Okay, fair. I have the Seahawks.
I'll go with Seahawks for 2.
Okay. And I had Kyler and the Vikings, which I guess would be my kind of out of nowhere, even though they literally went 9-8 last year as the wild card. I just don't believe in the Packers, especially not having Micah for potentially half the season. And I just don't believe in the Bears this year. I might be wrong. They could win the Super Bowl, but I got Vikings as wild card too.
3 for me is 49ers.
You think even with all the injuries and everything, they're still really good.
They're still always,
And as much as it pains me, I have the Eagles as the wild card 3, because if them boys are going to make it, the Eagles are going to make it as well.
Yeah, they have to be chasing their tails.
All right, so we disagree with, you don't have the Cowboys, you don't have the Panthers, and you don't have the Seahawks or Vikings, correct?
Not as far as the division winners now.
Do you have the Seahawks and Vikings making the...
Yes.
Oh,
no, I didn't have the Vikings. I had the
Seahawks.
I had the
making it.
Yeah, I had the Lions and Bears, but I do have Seattle.
Okay, so we disagree on 3 there in the NFC
Yeah.
North. All right, and we're gonna be so wrong, dude. This is always so funny. Your AFC Championship game.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo Bills versus Chargers.
Fair, and who
Yeah.
I guess the Bills would host that game.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you got winning?
Sadly, the Bills.
Okay, why sadly? Oh, because you want the Chargers.
I'm all in on the Chargers game, and I just I want to be correct. But
if the Bills host the championship game and it's not
over.
against Mahomes, holy crap!
Yeah,
like Mahomes has that meme magic to just like the ice water in his veins kind of thing. And I'm not saying Herbert's not great, but it's over. I have completely different from you. I have, and please, dude. When Russell was on the Broncos, I always was like, Broncos, Broncos, Broncos. Now I'm going Bungles, Bungles, Bungles. I got Bungles at Broncos because it's never what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Last year, when we looked into it, would we have said Patriots at Broncos?
No. Yeah.
Right? So I have Bungles at Broncos, and I have the Bungles winning because why not? Why not, baby? And like I said, it's literally never the teams you think. NFC Championship game.
Let's go with Bears 49ers.
Interesting. And in that case, the Bears would be hosting because the 49ers are a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who do you got winning?
49ers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you would say Bears-Bills, that is a Super Bowl that would just drive people insane because the Bills have never won it. They lost the 4 famously in the 90s, and Bears haven't won it since 85.
Yeah.
That's one where, like, I don't hate the Bears. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I want the Lions to win, but that one I would be happy with either because Bears fans have been tortured.
Yeah.
Yes. NFC Championship game, I have a little bit more chalk here. I have Lions at Rams with the Lions winning because I looked at it, and when there was a team that is getting so much hype where they're like, they have to win the championship. Every single time, going back to the 2007 Patriots,
they lose.
Mm-hmm. The last one I can think of where you looked at it and you were like, this team is so far and away the best team was the 2004 Pats, who did win it, but that was literally over 20 years ago.
Yeah, 22 years ago.
22 years ago. You have you had even the Chiefs when they won in 23. They kind of had some meme magic on their side. Yes, they were favorite, but they weren't like, oh my god, this team. You know, it wasn't to that level. Mm-hmm. So whenever you have that in the NFL, the sports gods they're mean.
They are mean.
And I have them going as the number 1 seed. I have them getting to the championship game. But the last time, again, every time I think of, oh, this team's got it, it's the dream team, it's the whatever, it just never happens. So,
never.
So your Super Bowl is...
Niners-Bills.
Niners-Bills. And... Bills.
They
all right.
pull it out, they do it.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
You know what? I would be okay with that Super Bowl. It wouldn't be, like, my favorite. The Bills making it would be awesome. If it was, like... My dream one always is Bills-Lions.
Yeah.
Because how fun is that?
Get the monkey off your back.
Yeah, for one of them, right? Yeah. And the Lions have literally never been to the Super Bowl, so even though it would be very painful if they lost, it would still be like, dude, we made it.
At least we made it, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the few teams that never make it to the Super Bowl in their entire thing. So, that would be fun. But Niners-Bills would be, like, decent. Obviously my most hated one happened a couple years ago where I famously didn't watch the game, famously to me. Obviously, it's not trending on Twitter. Is Chiefs Eagles. I literally did not watch a single second of that. I knew what was happening. I knew what was happening though, because do you know how I knew what was happening despite me not watching?
Ferris was hinting to you what was happening?
No, so Ferris came down at halftime and he said, "Wow, one team's winning by a lot." And I knew what was happening because a bunch of fireworks were going off constantly.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
We live in Eagles Count. And literally, I just, like, with 10 minutes after the game started, I heard, I was like, oh my God. I heard it like 5 times, and I was like, whip. And when Ferris was like, man, one team, I knew at that point. Because if he was like, man, it's a really high-scoring game, I would have been like, okay. But he was like, one team is getting destroyed.
Yeah, and then you got the Eagles fan being like, woo! Go Birds! Down the street. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, I only wish that Sirianni wouldn't have pulled the players out in the 4th because 10 years from now, Mahomes Glazers could be like, Well, they only lost by 17. Yeah, against their second stringers when they weren't when they were playing prevent defense and not trying.
Kenny Pickett into the game.
Yeah.
Super Bowl winner.
Super Bowl winner. It counts.
Yeah.
He can show off the ring. And my Super Bowl, Lions and Bungles. I gotta go with the Lions.
Lions pulling out their first.
Got Lions pulling out their first. This is I view this. I wanted to say Lions Bills, which would just, but I feel like if I put that meme magic out there, that it would there would be zero chance of it happening.
It's not happening.
So because I'm never right on this. Although sometimes I get one of the Super Bowl people. Lions Bungles would be.
That'd be fun.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it'd be
really
a super fun one because the Bengals have also never won it. Yes, they've also never won it.
Yep.
And that would be one I wouldn't talk to Ezra for 2 weeks because he's a Bengals fan. I would just be like, nope, not putting it out there.
Yeah, that's the right way to go about a Super Bowl like that, where it's just one of you's gonna be heartbroken, so you just want to just debuff for a little bit. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that would be lovely. Again, my absolute what I would love would be Bills and Lions. As always, Chiefs Eagles would be my absolute apocalyptic one. It'd be so boring again. Third time, I actually think last year's was fairly apocalyptic because I don't know how anyone could have won in it besides a Pat's homer being like, Pats have a chance. I just felt like they had no chance.
Nah, Seattle was just running people over the back end of the season they were on fire.
Even though I don't think they won the division. Did they win the division?
They either
yes, they did.
Yeah, I was to say they did, but it was like
it was very close.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah,
I remember sending in the group chat, both group chats, flag football and the fantasy one. I was like, Seahawks are winning it all early in the playoffs. I was like, I just don't see them losing.
Yeah, they were.
And I was right about it.
They were just too good from top to bottom. Yeah.
And the weird thing is, you don't have them. No, we both have them as wild cards, but we don't have them making the championship game.
I have a feeling the Rams and them are gonna run into each other in the divisional round, and one of them meets the buzzsaw. And that's where, and then you get the other. Then you have whatever mean magic has to happen in the NFC Championship or whatever, or God knows what. But it's gonna be messy in the NFC. Regardless,
and it
always is.
It's so hard. I feel like football more than any other sport to win or even get to it again the next year. It's so hard.
Super hard.
What the Chiefs did and what the Pats did 20 years ago. I think people think that's common. It's
not. Well, you always. Once you've been to the Super Bowl, every team you play, regardless of what their season outlook is, they're coming for you. They're going to beat you. They want to make a statement.
And I don't say this as a dig, but look at the Panthers.
Yeah,
sometimes and that's why I view the Lions as they had their chance in 2023. They were there, kind of thing. They got to do it now. So.
Yep.
All right, I guess that is it. I know this is a very long one. I love listening to these when I'm in early at the store though. It's always it's always fun
nice, peaceful.
And to go over how wrong
dumb we are.
How wrong I was about everything, which again is why I'm gonna say it again. Don't bet on sports. I'm dead serious. I know we're screwing around, but don't bet on sports. Now that it's legal, so much weird stuff happens. Man, so many. If I have to see Kevin Hart in one more commercial about DraftKings.
Yeah, it's bad.
My God. Kevin Hart and LeBron James. Get it? Because one's tall and one's short. Do you get it?
Yeah, for the last part, my least favorite question doing my weekly Panthers mailbag where people get to ask me whatever stupid questions they want. The one that always pisses me off is when they ask me about betting on the team, and I'm like, anytime I bet on this team, it never goes the way I expect because it's all rigged. I know more about the Panthers than 99% of the people in this fucking country, I bet, and I still can't bet on them correctly. So no, don't do it.
Don't do it. Just literally don't bet. Just put it, I'm telling you right now, listen.
Or plan on losing that money and just do it for fun.
If you have money that you're like,
Go play blackjack.
And at least that's fun. And yes, it's against you, but blackjack has a little bit of user skill.
Yeah.
And if for some reason you're like, I don't want this money, but I don't want it for a while kind of thing, literally still Nvidia stock. I'm just saying, anything AR related, it's not going away. I hate AI slop. I know you can't give any advice. I get it. Pan Alto Network, PANW. It's really expensive stock. It's still going crazy to the moon. Instead of betting $300 on a random NFL game, buy a stock, buy one share in Pan Alto Network. You can't say anything. It's okay, but I can. This isn't sponsored by anything except for, by the way, Clear American.
Yep.
Strawberry sparkling water.
Sponsor that.
It's pretty good, right?
It's very good.
It's like $5 for a 12
Took a
pack.
sip of it during a couple sips, and I was very impressed.
At Walmart,
So, yeah.
this stuff is like my new lifeblood. It's almost like I'm drinking actual water.
Yeah,
it's really
good.
It's
very
really
good.
close.
I will sponsor that 100%.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. Thank you again. We'll see you next time. I swear to God, it's going to be episode 79 because somehow I'm not going to do any other completing this for the entire year because I got 3 somewhat young kids and I got stuff to do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Man, I want to do one about Sony and how awful they've been, but maybe that'll be 79. We'll see.
We can do something like that at some point. We'll figure it out.
Be kind of fun. Get RJ in here and have him.
Get me as the guy who's who's discless right now. It'd be a fun time.
But but it's nice to hear from the opposite sides of things. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.